All right, Mr. Kuriyama.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Berman, did you know the Menendez family in 1989?
Yes, I did.
When did you meet the family?
In 1985 at the East Brunswick Racket Club in New Jersey.
Do you see members of that family in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
And at counsel table, do you see?
Yes, that's correct.
Just for the record, can you identify those people?
Yes, Erik Menendez and Lyle Menendez.
You met them in New Jersey in 1985?
Yes.
Would you describe how you met them?
I was an assistant tennis instructor at the East Brunswick Racket Club. East Brunswick Racket Club. And I was coaching Erik Menendez for about a 6-month period.
Was that in 1985?
Yes.
Did you meet other members of the family
Yes, that is correct.
at that time?
Yes.
Who else did you meet?
Mr. Menendez and Mrs. Menendez.
How would Erik Menendez come to your lessons?
Mrs. Menendez would drive him over.
Would Mrs. Menendez stay for the lesson?
Most of the time, if she had to run an errand, she might take off for a little while and come back later.
Did you become familiar with the family?
Yes, more so in California than in New Jersey.
At some point, did the Menendez family move then to California?
Excuse me?
Did the Menendez family move to California?
Yes, that is correct.
And when did that happen?
I believe they moved in 87. I moved in, or maybe they moved in 86. I moved in 87.
During the period of time that you knew the family in New Jersey from 1985 to either 86 or 87, what kind of context did you have with the family?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
What kind of context did you have with the family?
When
they were living in New Jersey?
basically just at the tennis club.
Other than with Mrs. Menendez, did you have any contact with Mr. Menendez in New Jersey?
There was one incident where I was giving Erik a lesson, and we were working on a certain type of game, more of a power game, serve and volley, and I was feeding him lobs, and fairly easy lobs, so he would gain confidence in his overhead, and Mr. Menendez came running onto the court. Again, East Brunswick Racket Club, it's an indoor structure, and he was behind the window, and he felt that the lesson, I was making it too easy for him. So he basically came down to run all the way to the far court on the right side and basically started yelling at me, feeling that I was making it too easy for his son. And I tried to explain to him that I wanted him to gain confidence in his overhead, and he basically didn't understand, my reasoning for that, and just basically walked off, gave me basically a dirty look and walked off the court. And at that point, Erik said, "My father won't be happy until running all over the tennis court, diving for tennis balls."
So he wanted you to be a little bit stricter with Erik and push him harder.
Right, that's correct.
How often would you give him lessons? That is Erik Menendez.
I'd say it was basically like once a week, I believe.
Were there other parents of students that you had that were intense? They wanted their children to excel?
Not to that extent. I mean, there were parents that wanted their children to perform well, but not to that extent.
He was a hard charger.
Yes.
Sometime after either 86 or 87, they moved to, as far as you know, they moved to California?
Yes.
Did you then become acquainted with them in California?
Yes, in the summer of 1988.
And where were they living at that time?
Calabasas.
Did you visit the Calabasas home?
Once.
On that one visit, who was home?
Lyle and I went to the house after we went to a taping of the Johnny Carson show, and then Erik, I believe, came home later that evening, and that was basically it.
The parents were not home?
That's correct.
Sometime after that, did you learn that the family had moved to Beverly Hills?
Yes.
And when approximately was that?
It was in October of '88.
And did you visit the family home?
Yes.
And could you describe what the visit was like?
I was living at the time in West Hollywood, so to Beverly Hills was a 5-minute drive, and I was going there on a consistent basis. If Lyle was in town, sometimes once a week, sometimes every other week, and we would play tennis. At that point, Lyle was on a circuit. He was basically training, and working on his tennis game. So we would basically get together and work out. And I've had dinners at the house. Mrs. Menendez would ask me to stay, or Lyle would ask if I'd like to stay and have dinner. And
What was your relationship with Mrs. Menendez? You said she invited you over for dinner?
Mm-hmm, yes. She was very, very cordial. She always would ask how my family was. At that time, they were living in New Jersey, and she knew I was basically out here on my own. I didn't have any family out here, and would ask how my career was going, and she was very, very pleasant to me.
And she would invite you over for dinner?
Yes.
And you would have dinners with the family?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you also get to know Mr. Menendez a little better?
Yes.
And was that here when they lived in Beverly Hills?
In Beverly Hills.
When you had dinners at the Menendez home,
Mm-hmm.
would Mr. Menendez and Mrs. Menendez be home?
Yes, they would both be home.
Would you say that you were friendly with the parents as well as with their sons?
I mean, not as friendly. I mean, I would never go out with Mr. and Mrs. Menendez to a movie or to a restaurant. But, I mean, they would always, speak with me when I was, in their house.
Bring you up to 1989. Do you recall sometime late in July or early August having dinner at the Menendez house?
Yes,
At their Beverly Hills home?
that's correct.
Was that at 722 North Elm?
Yes.
Do you recall anything in particular about that, the last time you actually had dinner with the family?
Yes, I was with Lyle prior to dinner, and we were out back on the tennis court, and they had a basketball hoop set up, so we were throwing, shooting some baskets, and he said that his parents were upset with him because there was a letter that was sent from Princeton University regarding a party at the university, and there was a damaged pool table, and Lyle basically took the blame for one of his friends.
And what was the, and who told you this information?
Lyle.
What was the nature of the letter, and who did the letter go to?
Went to his parents.
And this was from the university?
That's correct.
What did Lyle tell you about the letter and how his parents viewed that letter?
He told me again prior to dinner, basically. I just said on the tennis court, we were shooting some baskets, and
What is it in particular that he said, though, about that letter?
that his father was very upset with him, and his parents have spoken to him about it, and they were going to be having a family meeting maybe later that evening regarding that.
Did the letter have to do with having to pay for this pool table back to the university?
I believe so. I'm not certain about that.
Sometime in early 1989, were you with Lyle when he met a model,
Yes.
a woman by the name of Christy?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Where did that meeting take place?
We met in the parking lot of a club, lounge, whatever, in Santa Monica. I don't know if it's even still there. DC3 was the name of the club. And
what were the circumstances of the meeting?
Lyle and I were basically going out for the evening. He had a friend in town from New Jersey, and it was late in the week. I don't know, it might have been like a Thursday night or something. And we were going out. We were in the parking lot driving and pulling into the parking lot, and she was in her car pulling away. And
Were you in the same car?
no, I was, at the time, I had a Mazda RX-7, and Lyle was in his father's car. It was a Mercedes-Benz sedan.
And as you pulled into this nightclub spot, what happened?
She drove right past me, and as she was going past Lyle kind of waved to her, and she basically turned around and came back, and we all started talking.
As far as you knew, was that the first time that she had ever met either one of you?
Yes, that's correct.
What did she look like?
Very beautiful. She's blonde, around 5'7", blue eyes, very nice figure. She works out. She's very good shape. Very upbeat, very enthusiastic. Very upbeat personality.
Was she older than Lyle?
Yes.
Would you just generally describe what kind of model she was?
She did a lot of print modeling. If you're not familiar, print is magazine modeling, and maybe, I don't know if she did maybe some billboards, but she did extensive work in print modeling.
At some point in 1989, approximately April or May, well, first of all, did Lyle date Christy?
Yes, he did.
And how long did that relationship last?
A few months.
At some point, did the relationship end?
Yes, I believe it was the end of April of that year.
Of 1989?
Yes.
And what were the circumstances of that relationship ending?
Mr. Menendez, and again, I was mostly hearing this through Christy, that he didn't approve of Lyle dating her. She was 8 to 10 years older than he was, and he felt that, his parents felt that she was a little bit of felt that she was a gold digger, and that she wasn't right for him.
Did he express that his father and mother had disapproved of that relationship?
Right, and they basically prefer that he ended that relationship.
Did they give him some kind of an ultimatum?
We haven't clarified as to who is giving the witness this information.
Yes. Did you speak to, you knew that Lyle was involved in this relationship, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
You indicated that there was, you got information that Mr. and Mrs. Menendez were not in favor of this relationship, correct?
Right.
Okay. And where did you get that information?
Oh, from Christy.
I'm going to bring you farther along, and on the date of August 20th, 1989, did you have some kind of contact with Lyle Menendez?
Yes.
And would you describe for the jurors what took place that particular day?
I had a tennis game early that day, came back home, and played my messages. There was a message from Lyle. I called him back.
First of all, approximately what time was it that you got this message?
Around 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That is, did you go to your answer machine and then get the message at that point?
Yes.
So you don't know what time the call came in?
That is correct. I do not know.
Then what happened?
It was a call from Lyle. I returned the call, spoke to Mr. Menendez. He told me that Lyle was with Erik, and he believed they were at the Beverly Center shopping.
And approximately what time was that call made to Mr. Menendez?
It was right after I received the message from Lyle, so it was around 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Did you had a conversation with Mr. Menendez on that day?
Yes. Basically, I was speaking to Mr. Menendez. At that point, I was in the advertising industry, and I wanted to make a career move into film distribution. And the fact that Mr. Menendez was CEO of Live Entertainment, which is a film distribution company, I felt that he could give me some really, really good advice regarding the industry and maybe some contacts in the business as well. And he said that he was going on a business trip in the morning, and when he returned, he would call me and we would get together one evening.
You had that much of a rapport with him that you could contact him in that way?
Yes.
Some time later, did you get a call from Lyle Menendez?
Yes, it was between 4 and 5 o'clock, I believe, in the afternoon.
And what was the nature of that conversation?
That Lyle wanted to get together that evening, and I told him that I had plans to go to the Taste of LA, which is a food festival at the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium, and I was going with a friend of mine, and then he was more than welcome to join us. We know with Erik, of course.
And how did he respond to that?
He said that he had plans with Erik to go to see Batman, the movie Batman.
And did you agree to meet sometime later that night?
Lyle said that he would come after the movie was over, that the two boys, Lyle and Erik, would go to the Taste of LA around 9:30 that evening, and I stayed until about 10:15. It was a Sunday evening. They were basically closing up all the concessions. A lot of people were leaving, and my friend Todd and I just basically left. We couldn't find them. We left, came back to my place. Todd went home from there, and then I got a call from Lyle around.
Another question.
Oh, sorry.
First of all, you waited at the Taste of LA in Santa Monica until about 10:15
Yes.
at night? And you were with your friend Todd Hall?
That is correct.
Okay, and you didn't see Lyle Menendez or his brother Erik that
No.
whole night at the Taste of LA?
No.
Sometime later, you arrived home. How long did it take you to get home from Santa Monica?
About half an hour.
And you were living where then?
In West Hollywood.
In the Taste of LA in Santa Monica, was that at the Santa Monica Civic
Civic Auditorium, yes.
Sometime after 11, did you get a call from Lyle Menendez?
Yes.
And what was the nature of that call?
Lyle, I asked him what happened to him, and he said basically they got lost and they got there later than they anticipated. He was, at that point, he said he was calling from the Taste of LA, and he wanted to get together that evening. And I told him that I was getting ready to go to sleep. I had work the next morning, and I'd prefer to wait till Monday or Tuesday night to have dinner, or buy tea or something like that. And he was very persistent that he wanted to get together that evening to discuss his plans to go back to Princeton University in the fall, and to talk about his tennis game.
He had to meet you that night.
Yes.
Did he tell you where he wanted to meet
I
you?
basically said, fine, if it's that important to you, we can meet at the Cheesecake Factory in Beverly Hills, which from West Hollywood is maybe a 10-minute drive. And I told him I would meet him there in about a half an hour, which meant it would be like 11:45.
Did he indicate to you that he wanted you to come to his house?
I hung up the phone with him. He called back a few minutes later, within 5 minutes, and asked if it'd be better if I came by the house in Beverly Hills, because Erik wanted to pick up like a phony ID so he could, so if he wanted to have a few cocktails, he would be able to. And I told him that I was not going to go by the house, that it was late, and I just said, I'll give you an additional 5 minutes, pick up the ID, and then I would meet him, at the Cheesecake Factory.
Did you then go to the Cheesecake Factory?
Yes.
Did you ever see him that night?
No.
What time was he supposed to meet you at the Cheesecake Factory?
About 11:45.
Did Lyle Menendez tell you what time he arrived at the Taste of LA that night when he called you sometime after 11?
I believe it was said a little after 10:15.
That he arrived at the Taste of LA?
Right.
Did he ask you where you were?
I told him I was, he asked, and I told him I was basically out there looking for him.
Thank you. I have nothing further at this time, Your Honor.
Cross-examination?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Berman, what time did you say you left the Taste of LA?
About 10:15.
Okay. And,
Maybe 10:20, it was around that area.
And when you spoke with Lyle Menendez on the phone, he said he got there around 10:15?
Yes.
And can you describe what the Taste of LA is like? Is this inside or outside?
It's an outdoor festival, and they have concessions, like booths, one after another, of different restaurants in LA where you can go and sample the different entrees of those restaurants.
And is this in the outdoor area behind the Santa Monica Civic?
Yes, that's correct.
And are there rows of these booths?
Yes,
And then a lot of people milling around, going from booth to booth?
that's correct.
And was it fairly crowded the night that you were there?
Yes.
And when you received this call from Lyle at around 11 o'clock, was there anything unusual about the way he sounded, about his voice?
Yes, he seemed excited. It's really hard to describe. It's like excited and a little jumpy, I would say, at the same time.
At the grand jury, you used the word anxious.
Anxious, right, anxious.
Does that seem to fit the way he
Yes.
sounded? And was that different from the way he sounded on the phone normally?
Yes.
How long have you known him?
Since, again, it was probably late 1984, early 1985, and that was in New Jersey.
And you were his brother's coach, is that correct?
Yes,
But you got to be friends with Lyle?
that's correct.
And were you friends with him both back east and then when you moved out here? or-
No, more so in California.
And would you see him fairly regularly out here?
Yes, if he wasn't back east and he was in Los Angeles, I would see him on a consistent basis.
You told us about an incident with Erik Menendez in which his father interfered in the teaching that you were doing.
Yes.
Now, is that something that happens a lot with parents who are very concerned about the progress of their children?
It has never happened prior to that, nor has it happened after that.
How long have you been coaching?
I've been coaching since I was 18 years old, so it was about 15 years ago,
Okay.
since the late 70s.
Did you consider that a really surprising or shocking
Yes.
incident?
Yes, definitely shocking.
In what way?
I feel that parents really don't have the right to do that. They should guide their children and be there for them, and want them to excel if that's what the child wishes. But I feel it was borderline being a little too demanding of a parent.
Okay. You must have encountered other very involved tennis parents in your career. Is that
Yes,
true?
That's correct.
And have you encountered a number of tennis parents who are very interested in the progress of their children and want to know what's going on and try to get very involved?
Yes.
And what was the difference between those parents and Mr. Menendez?
The other parents don't come running on tennis courts, yelling at tennis coaches or
That's-
yelling at me.
That's just something that isn't done?
Again, I've never experienced that before.
Okay. And what was Eric's response to that?
I'm sorry, what was?
What was Eric's response to his father's behavior? Did he laugh about it? Did he think it was funny?
No. He was upset about it, I think a little embarrassed by it.
Okay. And it made quite an impression on you, I take it.
Right.
When you would visit the Menendez home, did you find this to be kind of a relaxed, easygoing, warm environment, or did you sense other emotions?
Other emotions at times, yes.
What other emotions did you sense?
I feel that Mr. Menendez ran his home as though it was a company and he was the chairman of the board. He's very strict with the boys. He wanted to have control in every aspect of their lives, either academically, socially, with tennis. The girls they decided they wanted to go out with, the schools they selected, universities they selected.
When you say they selected, who selected the universities and the girlfriends?
Mr. Menendez,
And was there tension in that home?
yes.
You told us about a young woman who you referred to as Christy.
Yes.
And you knew Lyle and Christy during the time they were dating?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
You knew both Lyle and Christy during the time they were dating?
Yes.
And you've told us that Mr. Menendez thought that she was too old and was a gold digger. Is
That's
that correct?
correct.
And had you heard him make similar comments about other girlfriends or another girlfriend whom Lyle had had?
Yes.
Which girlfriend was that?
Jamie.
And was it your understanding that Mr. Menendez required that Lyle end the relationship with Christy?
Yes.
And have you continued to be friends with her?
With Christy?
Christy?
Yes, I see her occasionally. We live in the same neighborhood, so we'll run into each other.
She's a nice young woman.
Yeah, very nice.
The night that you were there for dinner, and I think you talked about shooting baskets with Lyle.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an incident, he expressed some concern to you about a pool table that had gotten destroyed at a party back in Princeton.
Right.
And I think you told us that he said he had taken the blame for a friend of his in that.
Yes, that's correct.
Do you remember the name of that friend?
Hayden.
And when you had dinner at the home that night, was it a relaxed, friendly meal?
No, it was very, very tense. Basically, Mr. Menendez asked me a few questions about how work was going and about my family back in New Jersey. And I basically responded, and that was about the extent of it. Lyle and Erik really didn't speak during that dinner. And Mrs. Menendez might have asked, how everything was going, and that was about it.
What happened after dinner?
Directly following dinner, Lyle and I walked to the family room, and he walked back. He excused himself and walked back, and he had to speak to his parents, and he came right back, and he said, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to leave. We're having a family meeting now. And basically just went on my way.
And did you have any information about what happened at the family meeting? Did you see or hear anything
No.
after you walked out the door?
When I walked out the door, they were getting ready for their meeting. It was, I believe, Mr. Menendez's library, which is the front room. And I came over on my mountain bike, which was basically leaning against the front wall. And I could basically look in and see that they were getting ready for a meeting in Mr. Menendez's library.
And what was the atmosphere, if you could tell?
It was very, very tense.
You made the comment that that the feeling of this family was that Mr. Menendez ran it as a business and that there was some tension there. Did you have any sense of secrecy in that family?
Objection, calls for speculation.
Do you understand the question?
I do understand it.
Yeah, do you have such an opinion?
No, I do not.
Do you remember telling Detective Zoller?
Objection,
Okay.
All right, I'm showing you a police report dated November 7th, 1989, in which you were interviewed by Detectives Linehan and Zoller.
Mm-hmm.
And have you looked at this report before?
Yes, I am.
And did you review it today?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay.
Is this the report that...
This is one of the reports
With
Mr.
the diaries.
Kuriyama gave you today, I believe. Okay, and I'd like you to read to yourself this one. The last paragraph, starting with the second sentence.
To the... Where you want to here?
Just write down that
Where do you want to go?
to outsiders.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Now, my question is whether you believe that this is a family that would keep their family business.
Objection, Your Honor. I'll take that.
Sustained.
Whether you believe that this is a...
Objection.
If you wanted to ask the witness to,
Does this refresh your recollection as to whether this is a family that kept
Objection?
secrets?
that's not the question.
I'm sorry, could I have the question
Yeah.
back? I don't remember exactly how it phrased
The reporter could find a question that was asked before we went to the bench.
Question, you made the comment that the feeling of this family was that Mr. Menendez ran it as a business and that there was some tension there. Did you have any sense of secrecy in that family?
Okay.
Right.
Having read the document I just gave you, does that refresh your recollection as to whether there was a feeling of secrecy in that family?
Yes.
And was there?
Yes. Right. I believe that they kept a lot was what was going on. If there were any problems, they would keep it to themselves. Right.
When you talked to Lyle earlier in the day, or when you got his message earlier in the day, you said you had been out?
Yes, that's correct.
And what time had you left the house that morning?
I believe it was around 10:30.
And you got back at 1 in
1
the
o'clock.
afternoon?
Yes,
And so the phone call came in at some time between those hours?
that is correct.
And was there anything unusual about the way his voice sounded on the message?
No,
And was there anything unusual about the way he sounded when you spoke to him and made the plans to go out that night?
no.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Any cross-examination by the co-defendant?
Yeah, just a moment now.
Yes.
No, Your Honor, we have no questions at this time.
Any redirect?
Thank you. Mr. Berman, do you remember testifying at the grand jury?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember testifying as to your feelings on Mrs. Menendez?
Yes.
And how did you relate how you felt about Mrs. Menendez? Your impression?
This is not an area that we went into cross-examination. It was already covered in on direct.
Would you intend to go into some new area that you had not covered on direct?
I did ask questions, I believe. Well,
Are you asking
Yes.
to reopen, is what you're?
Yes.
Okay, you'll be permitted to do that.
thank you. Did you have an impression about Mrs. Menendez?
Yes.
What was that?
She was a very sweet, caring woman. She basically allowed Mr. Menendez to run his house the way he felt, necessary. I don't think she really stepped in between Mr. Menendez and the boys.
Would you say that Mr. Menendez was a disciplinarian?
Yes.
When you say that the family may have had secrets, when you were there the last time for dinner with the Menendez family, and Lyle Menendez had told you that his parents had gotten a letter about this pool table that was ruined, and that his parents were not pleased with him. And his parents then, he came to you later that night after you had eaten and said, we're going to have a family meeting, can you leave? Is that what you mean, that things of that nature would be talked among themselves as a family?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Anything else?
Just briefly. This meeting that we're talking about, the pool table meeting. Now, was it your impression that Lyle had done something wrong, or he had just taken the blame for somebody else?
That he had taken the blame for somebody else.
Okay. And Did you have the impression that this family wanted the outside world to not have any information about any flaws or problems that they had?
Right, that is correct.
And did you have the impression that this family was very concerned about what their public image was?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Did you have the impression that the reason that they didn't want to discuss things in front of people who had been friends for years was because they didn't want anybody else to know if there were problems in the family?
Objection calls for speculation, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Your Honor, I believe that that's a follow-up on his
Counsel,
question.
it just calls for speculation on the part of the witness. Objection sustained.
Thank you.
All right, anything else?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, you may question the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wenskowski, what do you do for a living right now?
I'm Director of Security for a food service company.
And in August and September of 1989, did you also work in security?
Yes,
Did you work for a different company from the one you work for now?
yes, I did.
What was the name of the company that you worked for in August and September of 1989?
D.B. Kelly Associates.
And what kind of company was that? What kind of services were provided by D.B. Kelly?
It was a private investigational company along with a guard service company.
Is that a guard service? Is that what you said?
Yes,
Bodyguards?
yes,
Prior to working at D.B. Kelly, did you have any law enforcement experience?
yes, I have.
Could you explain to us what it was?
I was an Edison police officer for 15 years and a police officer in Middlesex County, New Jersey, for 3 years.
What is Edison?
Township of New Jersey.
So you had 18 years of law enforcement experience before you went into the security business?
Yes, ma'am.
And was D.B. Kelly your first security job?
No, I worked for Salem and Associates before D.B. Kelly.
Okay. Back in August of 1989, were you employed to provide bodyguard services for someone?
Yes, I did.
Was that a young man?
Yes,
You see him in court here today?
yes, ma'am.
Did you indicate to the jury and the judge where he's seated today?
He's sitting at the table to my left, wearing a white striped shirt, no tie.
Identifying the defendant Lyle Menendez.
Thank you. Mr. Wenskowski, do you remember precisely the day it was that you started to provide bodyguard services for Mr. Menendez?
I believe it was approximately August the 28th or 29th.
Were you aware that at some point that the parents of Mr. Menendez had been killed in California?
Yes,
Were you aware that there had been a memorial service in New Jersey on their behalf?
yes,
Did you begin your bodyguard services for Mr. Lyle Menendez before, during, or after the memorial service?
it was after the memorial service.
And could you explain to me what kind of services you provided for Mr. Menendez?
We,
No, wait.
stayed-
Okay, you say we. Who's we?
I also had a partner,
And what was your partner's name?
John Aquaro.
Is that A-Q-U-A-R-O?
Yes,
Okay. Okay. What did you and Mr. Aquaro do?
we bodyguarded Lyle for approximately a week or so. We spent 24 hours a day with him.
At the time that you were providing bodyguard services for him, were you armed with a weapon?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of weapon did you have?
A Browning 9mm.
And that was carried with you at all times, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I'm a little concerned or confused. If it was 24 hours a day, did you sleep?
Yes, we did. We had adjoining rooms with Lyle
Okay, now, where did you have these adjoining rooms?
at the Princeton Hyatt.
Okay, so that's a typical Hyatt hotel?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And during the course of this time with Mr. Menendez, where did you go with him?
We went shopping. We went to the U.S. Open. We went looking at homes, cars.
When you say the U.S. Open, is that the U.S. Open tennis tournament?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you, in fact, attend that tennis tournament Labor Day weekend with Lyle Menendez?
Yes.
Do you remember what day of the week it was that you went to the U.S. Open?
No, I don't recall.
And so were you with him continually during this, I think you said 7 or 8 day period? Was there any period of time you weren't with him?
There was approximately a day and a half I was not with him.
Okay. Now, during that day and a half, can you remember why it was that you weren't with him?
I went home to my family, and the president of the company, Dennis Kelly, stood in for me.
Was there also another occasion in which Mr. Menendez was taken to the airport in your company?
Yes.
Do you remember when that was?
That was approximately August the 30th, I believe.
All right, could you explain to us what happened?
Lyle told me he had to fly back to Los Angeles and to see his brother, and something about a will on a computer.
Okay, so what is the best of your recollection as to the conversation he had with you before leaving as to the will on the computer?
He said he had to meet with his brother, and they had his brother was finding somebody out in California to do something with a will on a computer.
Okay, was he any more specific with you than that at that time?
No, he wasn't, no.
Okay, so where did you then go?
Then we left, and Lyle flew out to California.
Do you remember from which airport he flew to California?
Newark.
Newark?
Newark.
Okay. Mr. Wenskowski, when was the next time you saw Lyle in terms of hours after you saw him off at Newark Airport?
He flew back the next morning. I met him at the airport.
And then you returned to the Princeton area?
Yes.
Approximately how far is it from Princeton to Newark?
40 miles.
Okay, now this may be a silly question, but are you a New Jersey native?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Wenskowski, when you were traveling with Lyle during this period of time, minus the day and a half, in what method, what means did you travel?
Lyle was in a limousine, and most of the time I was in a vehicle behind the limousine.
Okay, what was the purpose of you being in a vehicle behind the limousine?
That was sort of like a crash vehicle.
What's a crash vehicle?
Well, if somebody attempted to harm Lyle while we were in traffic or on the roadway, we always had a second vehicle. If something happened to the limousine, we had a second vehicle to take Lyle out of the area.
Okay, so that was a security precaution, is that
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
Right. While you were with Lyle Menendez, did he ever tell you why it was he wanted a bodyguard?
Yes, he did.
Okay, what did he tell you?
He said that his parents were murdered by either the cartel or the mob,
Okay.
and he was in fear of his life.
Okay, now, when you say the cartel, what was your understanding of what the cartel was?
My understanding was the South American drug cartel or drug mob.
And when he used the word mob, did that mean to you the Cosa Nostra?
That's what I took it to be, yes.
Okay. In regards to that, did you take any special precautions to protect yourself?
Yes.
What did you do?
We had we purchased bulletproof vests, and
Now, did you purchase bulletproof vests just for this job?
yes, ma'am.
So prior to that, in your experience as a bodyguard, you hadn't used one?
No.
Okay. Returning to when you went to the airport to pick up Mr. Menendez after he'd been gone, did he make any comments to you about how the trip had gone in California?
Yes, I asked him how everything worked out in California. He says everything was fine, Rich.
Right. I believe you indicated during the period of time that you were guarding him that one of your activities was shopping. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever shop for any vehicles?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you describe what you did in that regard, please?
We went to a Porsche dealer located on Route 1 in the Princeton area, at which time Lyle was looking at a white Porsche convertible.
Did you ever see him or did you ever go with him while he test drove a Porsche?
Yes, we
All right.
went for a test drive.
All right. For about how long did you go for the test drive?
15 minutes.
Okay. And who was driving?
Lyle was.
Okay. Did he appear to know how to drive the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did he break any speed laws?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you actually see him close the purchase of the Porsche?
No.
Okay. Did you do any other shopping involving real estate?
Yes, we went to a housing development in the Princeton area where we looked at patio homes.
Okay. Now, what's a patio home as far as you understand it?
Patio home is a dwelling that is right next to another home, so to speak. They only have little yards in the front and maybe a little side yard in the back, and it was a two-story home.
Okay. So they would be attached to other homes on both sides?
Yes, or at least on one side, and there would be a wall in between.
Did Mr. Menendez have any discussion with you about whether or not he wanted to buy one of these patio homes?
Yes, he brought me into the home and asked me if I liked it, and we looked around the house.
Okay. Now, in regards to the Porsche, did Mr. Menendez ever ask you your opinion about the Porsche?
Yes, he did.
What kind of discussions did you have generally?
Generally, when he looked at things, he asked my opinion. If I liked them, would it be good for him, and do you think he would enjoy it?
Okay. Did he ever tell you why it was he was asking your opinion about these things?
Later on, during the time I spent with him, he said that I kind of reminded him of his dad. He said I was kind of about the same age, and he looked at me as a father figure.
Did you ever see Mr. Menendez wearing any kind of wristwatch?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you remember what kind it was?
It was a Rolex.
Okay. Now, during this period of time, did you ever meet his brother, Erik Menendez?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So your contact was solely with Lyle Menendez, is that correct?
Yes.
The Rolex, could you describe it for me, please?
It was a gold watch, gold band, with I believe a gold face. You know, look, a regular Rolex.
And so you'd seen Rolexes before this occasion, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I believe you indicated that you carried a weapon during this period of time, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you ever have any discussions with Lyle Menendez about weapons and ballistics and things like that?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you relate to us approximately when it was? And we'll use the trip to the trip out of Newark as the before or after point. The discussion you had with him about weapons, was that before or after the trip to Newark Airport?
After.
Okay. And what was said to you by Mr. Menendez, and what did you respond?
Well, we were getting ready for dinner one night, and he was looking at the weapon, and he asked me if you can get ballistics off of a pistol. And I said yes. And then he asked me if you can get them off of a shotgun, and I said no.
Okay. And so your understanding at the time when you made that response is that you cannot get ballistics off a shotgun.
Yes, ma'am.
But you're not a ballistics expert, correct?
No, ma'am.
This was from your experience as having been a police officer?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, why was it that you felt the necessity of buying a bulletproof vest?
Was due to the type of crimes that were committed against his parents, how many times they were shot, and it was worse than an execution type murder. It was almost like a message trying to be sent.
Now, who gave you this information? Was it Lyle Menendez or someone else?
Lyle gave me some of the information, and my boss at the time, D.B. Kelly, gave me the other information.
And now, did Lyle Menendez ever indicate to you that he was in fear of someone that you should guard him from?
Yes.
Okay, what generally did he tell you about that?
He figured that him and his brother were in severe danger because of if they did that to his parents, they're going to try to do the same thing to him and his brother.
And it was he that gave you the idea that it was someone in the cartel or the mob, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, during the period of time that you were bodyguarding Mr. Lyle Menendez, did you ever see him in the company of a friend of his named Glenn Stevens?
Yes.
Okay, and is Mr. Stevens out in the hallway?
Yes, he is.
Okay, and you recognize him from having seen him in August and September of 1989?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you ever go shopping for any other kind of vehicles?
No.
Did you ever, were you ever asked by Mr. Menendez to get you prices for any other kind of vehicles?
Yes.
Could you tell us what Mr. Menendez told you in this regard, please?
He wanted a price on a bulletproof limousine.
And did you, in fact, try to obtain prices for a bulletproof limousine?
Yes, I passed that information on to my superior, and he looked into it. He was looking into it, into purchasing a limo.
Did you ever get back to Mr. Lyle Menendez about the purchase of a bulletproof limousine?
Not during the time, no.
Okay.
No.
Now, at some point, I believe your employment was terminated. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did Mr. Lyle Menendez ever tell you why it was that your services were no longer required?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you remember the date that this occurred? Well, let me ask you this. Let me back up. You indicated you went to the U.S. Open. Was that over Labor Day weekend?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Was it sometime after Labor Day weekend that your employment was terminated?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember what day of the week it was?
Day of the week, I believe it was a Wednesday.
All right.
I believe it was a Wednesday.
So that would have been the Wednesday after Labor Day of 1989?
Yes.
And what did Mr. Lyle Menendez tell you about why your services were no longer required?
He said that his uncle had contacted somebody in New York City, and a mob figure, I believe that was the exact term he used. His uncle went to see somebody in the mob in New York City, and they assured his uncle that Lyle was no longer in danger, or his brother.
And that was the end of your contact in 1989 with Mr. Lyle Menendez?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I believe you indicated you did other shopping. What kind of shopping did you do with him aside from homes and vehicles?
We went clothes shopping. He bought suits and shoes, shirts, ties. We went shopping for tennis equipment, tennis rackets, sports sneakers, and outerwear.
Now, when you first met Lyle Menendez, was that at the Princeton Hyatt or was that at another hotel?
That was at another hotel,
And what's the name of the other hotel?
the Nassau Inn.
Okay, and is that a hotel inside the Princeton area?
Yes, ma'am.
When you first met him at the the Nassau Inn, did you actually go into his room?
Yes,
And did you accompany him when he checked out of the hotel and left?
yes.
Did he leave anything behind in his room when you left?
Yes, he did. He left a couple pairs of boots, some shoes, a jacket, shirts. There was a drawer open. There was undergarments left in there.
Did you make any comment to Mr. Menendez about leaving these things behind?
Yes, I asked him, I says, shouldn't we pick this stuff up? You want me to pick it up, you know, gather it? He says, no. He says, leave everything. He says, I don't want anything to remind me. He says, I want to buy new stuff.
Okay. And so it was after that that you went on these shopping expeditions, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When you went shopping for clothes and tennis equipment and things like that, how did he purchase these items?
With credit cards.
Okay, were you able to ascertain whose credit cards they were?
No.
All right. Did you ever see any of those credit cards refused?
Yes.
Okay. In conjunction with that, did you ever take Mr. Lyle Menendez anywhere to get more money?
Yes.
And did Mr. Lyle Menendez tell you where he wanted to go and why?
Yes.
Okay, what happened there?
Lyle said that he needed more money, and he was going to visit his Uncle Carlos. We went there twice, I believe, and both times Lyle said it was to obtain money.
Okay. And did you actually accompany him inside of the house to get the money, or did you wait?
I waited outside.
And when he came back, did he ever indicate on either of the two occasions that he had been successful in getting money?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Now, did Lyle Menendez ever tell you directly what had happened to his parents?
He said that they were killed by shotguns while they were watching TV in their home in Beverly Hills.
All right. And when was it in your relationship with him that he told you this? Was it the first day, the second?
I believe it was the very first day.
All right.
Because I wanted to know exactly what what I was looking at. And
Were you concerned about your personal safety?
a little bit, yes.
Okay. When you went to look at the Porsche and you went to the patio homes, could you describe his demeanor for me?
He was normal. Him and Glenn were laughing and talking and joking. There was no, he didn't look upset.
Did you ever see him cry?
No, ma'am.
Now, as a police officer and your 18 years, had you ever seen people who had been the victims of crimes or witnesses who were aggrieved?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he appear to be aggrieved to you?
No, ma'am.
Okay. When he was purchasing these items, did he appear unhappy?
No, not at all.
Okay. Subject to the court's order, I have no further questions at this time.
All right, prosecutor.
Good morning, Mr. Wenskowski.
Good morning, sir.
I want to pinpoint, if we could, the time period that we're talking about. I think you said you first met Lyle Menendez on August 28th or 29th?
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And where did you first meet him, if you recall?
At the Nassau Inn. Yes, at the Nassau Inn.
Were you dispatched there by your boss who sent you out there, and then you met Lyle in person?
Yes.
And when was the last time you saw him in person?
In person, I believe it was September the 4th or 5th, and that was at the Princeton Hyatt Hotel.
Okay, so, and that was the last time you ever saw him in person up until today,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
So you're with him in total for a period of about 7 or 8 days.
Yes, sir.
And I think you said also that during that 7 or 8 day period, you were away from the scene, away from him for at least a day, maybe a couple of days.
A day and a half, I believe.
And during that day and a half, your boss, Dennis Kelly, took over for you.
Yes, sir.
You never met Erik Menendez?
No, sir.
Was it during that day and a half period when you were off that your boss and your partner, John, met up with Erik Menendez and took him somewhere? If you know.
I believe my boss contacted another private investigator in New York City, and they met and they went to the U.S. Open, I think.
At some point during that 7 or 8 day period, did Lyle indicate to you that he was worried about his little brother?
Yes, he did.
And what was the context of that conversation?
Lyle said that he was concerned about his little brother that out here in California at the time, and his brother wasn't taking this seriously, what had happened to his parents.
Did it appear to you, just based on his demeanor, that he was seriously concerned about his brother?
Yes, sir.
Now, I think you testified that although you only knew Lyle Menendez for this 7 or 8 day period, that he, in fact, was consulting you about decisions in his life, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And that was something that stuck out in your mind, isn't that true?
Yes.
In other words, you were with him on various trips that you've described, and in each instance, he would ask for your advice as to whether you thought it was good for him to make a particular purchase.
Yes,
Is that
sir, at
correct?
times, yes.
And those were the words he used. He said to you, do you think this would be good for me?
I wanted, at several times he said that to me, yes.
And that extended even to such minor items as clothing that he was purchasing, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
You'd be in a store with him, and instead of making the decision for himself, he would turn to you and ask whether you thought it was good for him that he was making a particular purchase.
Well, he lined up some shoes and suits and ties and shirts, and he asked me if this would look good on him, do I like the way this looks, and things of that nature.
And this is from a person that you knew less than 2 weeks, right?
Yes, sir.
That seemed unusual to you, did it not?
Yes, sir.
And I think you also mentioned that at some point in time, he in fact mentioned to you that you were some sort of a father figure.
He said that I reminded him a lot of his dad. I was about the same age, and I think my hair was a little darker at the time. And yes, he did.
Can you give me a little bit more of what that conversation was in terms of where it took place and what you were talking about before that statement came up about you being a father figure to him?
That was, I believe, a day or two right before we stopped Bodyguard and Lyle. We were at the Princeton Hyatt. We were having lunch downstairs. And that's when he said, he thanked me. He says, Rich, I want to thank you. He says, you stood by me and you helped me out a lot. He says, and thank you, he says.
Was he sincere when he told you that?
Yes, he
Thank
was.
you? Did he
Yes.
seem emotional as he related that to you?
No.
I don't mean he wasn't crying, breaking down, but did he seem like it was something that he meant as he told you that?
Yes, he did. Yes, it was something he meant.
And did you in general have a good relationship with him during that 1 week period of
Yes,
time?
yes, we did.
Now, is it true that Lyle, never mentioned to you the death of his parents? That was a subject that was never talked about.
No, it wasn't. We never discussed it.
Never said anything about that at all, did he?
No.
And you mentioned a conversation that you had with him about a computer, is that right?
Yes.
Did he know you were a police officer or a former police officer?
Yeah, I think I did tell him. Yeah.
And yet he openly talked to you about the fact that he was going to California to take care of some problem relating to a computer?
Yes, the will, I believe he said.
And when he got back, he told you that everything was fine, words to that effect, correct?
Yeah, he said everything worked out, everything was fine.
Did he ever say to you, hey, don't mention to anybody that we had this discussion about a
No.
will or a computer?
No,
Made
sir.
no attempt to influence you in any way not to reveal that to whoever you choose to reveal it to, correct?
No, sir.
And other than the brief mention that you've already told us about, did he say anything else about a will or a computer?
No, sir, he did not.
You mentioned that these purchases he made were made with credit cards, is that right?
Yes.
Did he have a lot of cash that he was throwing around?
He didn't have a lot of cash, no, he didn't.
And the credit card purchases, you said at one point the credit cards were refused, is that right?
Yes, we were at a clothing store, and I think he went to 2 or 3 credit cards before one was taken.
And you also indicated that when he didn't have the money, he would go to his Uncle Carlos to get more for whatever it was he was buying, correct?
Well, not that I had knowledge that he didn't have any more money. He would tell me, Rich, we're going to my Uncle Carlos' house tonight. It was usually at night. That's when we went there, twice at night. And he says he was going to try to go get some more money.
Now, as one of the things he said, you said although he didn't mention anything about the death of his parents, he told you this story about the mob, correct?
Yes, he did.
And he also said something about being in fear
Yes.
for his life. What did he say about that?
He told me that the way his parents were killed, that they were going to come after him and his brother.
And did he in fact seem fearful to you?
He was concerned, yes. He seemed concerned. Enough
And-
that at the time that I took it very, very seriously.
And he seemed paranoid during a certain period that you were with him?
No.
For a psychological conclusion on the part of the witness.
Objection sustained, the answer is straight.
Did he seem to you to be genuinely fearful as during the period of time that you were with him?
No, sir. On the contrary. He would jump out of the limousine before we even would stop and go running into stores. And several times he'd walk away and we would say, Lyle, wait a minute, let us go out of the store first. And yeah, he wasn't fearful. No.
And do you remember describing to the detectives from Beverly Hills when they asked you about this that, in your opinion, he seemed to be paranoid when you first met him?
When I first met him, yes.
What did you mean by that, he was paranoid? I realize you're not a psychiatrist, but what did that mean to you when you said that?
Well, in the first day or two, he would come out of the building or dwelling that we were at and look around and, just seem nervous the first day or two.
Now, was it also true that aside from Lyle, you were receiving information from other people, that people were following you, for instance?
Objection calls for hearsay, Your Honor.
This goes to a state of mind. It's non-hearsay,
Irrelevant.
Whose state of mind?
the witnesses.
Objection sustained.
Did you ever have a conversation with the limo driver about the security precautions that you were taking in relation to Lyle Menendez?
Yes.
And you indicated that there were certain reasons you had for carrying a gun and getting a bulletproof vest, correct?
Yes.
In relation to those reasons, did the limo driver at some point indicate to you that he thought someone was following you?
Yes, he did. He mentioned something about the FBI, or he was informed by his office that he thought that the FBI was following Lyle or the limousine.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that be limited only to his state of mind and not the truth of the matter asserted.
No objection to that?
Right, that last answer is not received for the truth of what was contained in it. If there was any truth to the fact the FBI was doing any following, just received to show that this witness received that information and what, if anything, it
Had to do with his state of mind, the witness's state of mind.
At some point in time, did you take Lyle Menendez and Glenn Stevens to New York City?
Yes, sir.
And did Lyle and Glenn ask you to take them to a restaurant?
No, I didn't take him to no restaurant. We took him to the U.S. Open.
And that was the only trip you made with
Yes, sir.
Glenn Stevens and Lyle Menendez to New York City, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, this conversation you said that took place about the gun that was in the hotel room at the Hyatt,
Yes, we were dressing for dinner one night,
and you said that was after he came back from
California.
California, and you were in your bedroom and Lyle came in, is that correct?
Yes.
And at that time, you had that brief conversation about whether you could get rifling off your gun, which was a pistol, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he asked you about the shotgun, and was Glenn Stevens present during that conversation?
I don't recall. I don't know whether Glenn was in the room or not.
Right.
I really don't.
That's a conversation which you did not mention to the detectives when they first talked to you about the case. Isn't that true?
I don't know whether it was the first meeting or the second meeting I had with the Beverly Hills Police Department, but it was mentioned to them.
Right. You first met them around September of 1989.
I don't know if it was that early. I don't know if it was in September, sir.
September 19th, 1989. Do you remember being interviewed by Detective Zoller?
Yes, yes.
And do you think you mentioned that conversation at that time?
I don't recall.
Did you also have a second conversation with Detective Zoller on February 27th, 1990?
Yes,
And that was a situation where Detective Zoller came to your place of business and took you to Lyle Menendez's restaurant?
yes, sir.
And how long were you with Detective Zoller on that occasion?
Couple hours.
During any of that period of time, do you think you mentioned this incident about the discussion about the gun?
I don't remember when I told him, sir.
And do you remember that you were flown out here by the prosecution to testify at the grand jury proceeding?
Yes, sir.
That was in 1992.
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true that that's the first time that you mentioned that conversation?
No.
You had mentioned it in your interviews before with Detective Zoller.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Has the prosecution treated you pretty well in this case?
Yes, sir.
Have they paid all your expenses?
Your Honor, objection irrelevant.
Some bias, interest, or motive?
Be a little more specific when you talk about expenses, what you mean?
Sure. Has the prosecution paid for your travel expenses to come out here?
Yes, sir.
Have they put you up in a nice hotel?
Yes, sir.
Did they put you up in a nice hotel when you were out here for your grand jury testimony?
Yes, sir.
Did Detective Zoller also show you around the town a little bit?
Yes, he showed us his police department.
Did you do anything with him after hours?
I believe we had a drink or two, yes.
And you and Glenn Stevens and Detective Zoller had a drink or two?
I don't know if Glenn was with us or not. Yeah,
Did,
he must have been. He must have been.
and did Detective Zoller take you and Glenn Stevens to a topless bar here in Los Angeles?
Oh, I don't remember that, sir. I would remember that.
You would have remembered that. All right. And you don't remember that, but you remember going out with him and Glenn Stevens for some drinks?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. That's all I have.
Can you withdraw?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wenskowski, I believe you indicated on cross-examination that Lyle Menendez consulted you about various purchases he wanted to make. Did you ever talk to him about the money he was spending?
No, ma'am. He never indicated to me that, he indicated to me he had money, and that's why he wanted to buy new items.
Now, I believe that you were also asked on cross-examination that Lyle Menendez mentioned that he was going to Los Angeles to do something with a will and a computer. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he ever indicate to you that he was going to erase the will in case it disinherited him?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Anything else?
Did he also indicate to you that the reason he was buying these clothing items was because he didn't have any clothes since he was leaving his clothes in the Nassau Inn?
Yes, he did. He said he left a lot of items back in California, and he left a lot of items in the Nassau Inn, and he wanted to buy all new stuff.
And you said, I believe, that when you drew that to his attention that he was leaving items in the room, he made a statement to you along the lines of, I don't want anything to remind me. Do you remember that
Yes, sir.
testimony? Did he say what he was referring to there?
No, I gathered he didn't want anything to remind him of his, maybe some of the clothes his parents bought him, or to that effect. I was led to believe that he wanted to not recall or not have any understanding or feelings of what had occurred with his parents.
Your Honor, I move to strike that as speculation on part of the witness.
Well, the objection could have been made earlier, but the objection is sustained and the answer is stricken.
The entire
The
answer?
entire answer is stricken. You can ask the question again, but I believe the answer included entire speculation and conclusion on the part of the witness.
Could I have the reporter reread the
Yeah.
question? And then could you re-answer the question, please, without the speculation?
Just say yes or no. I believe the question called for that.
Question, did he say what he was referring to there?
Let's put it in context.
Question, and you said, I believe, that when you drew that to his attention, that he was leaving items in the room, he made a statement to you along the lines of, I don't want anything to remind me. Do you remember that testimony? Answer yes. Question, did he say what he was referring to there?
No.
And was he in a serious mood when he made that statement to you?
No.
Did you ask any follow-up questions when he made that statement?
No.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, it's not right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll excuse you until 1:45. There's
Counsel, sometime in late February of 1990, several months after you had guarded Lyle Menendez, did you have a visit from the Beverly Hills police detectives assigned to the case?
Yes, ma'am.
And where did they visit you, please?
They visited me at the office of D.B. Kelly,
What city is D.B. Kelly in?
Piscataway.
Is it Delaware?
Piscataway. Piscataway.
And was one of the people that visited you, Detective Will, wasn't seated at the counsel table?
Yes, ma'am.
And was he with the partner officer?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you and Detective Zoller go someplace?
Yes, we did.
Where did you go?
We went to Mr. Buffalo's in Princeton, New Jersey.
Okay, now what is Mr. Buffalo's?
It's a restaurant that specializes in hot buffalo wings.
And when you went to that restaurant, did you talk to the manager of the restaurant?
Yes, ma'am.
Shortly after that, did you receive a message to call Lyle Menendez?
Yes, I did.
How many days after yours and the detective's visit to Mr. Buffalo's was it that you got the message to call Lyle Menendez?
We visited the establishment on a Friday, and I received the message on a Monday, a weekend, 2 days later.
Right, and did you in fact call Lyle Menendez back?
Yes, ma'am.
And from the area code that you called, could you tell what state you were calling?
Yes, California.
And did you in fact speak with Lyle Menendez when you made the phone call?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, could you tell us what the conversation was about, please?
Lyle wanted to know why the Beverly Hills cops and myself went to Mr. Buffalo, went to his restaurant. He wanted to know if there was a problem there.
And what did you tell him?
I told him there wasn't any problem, that the police officers just wanted us to go with them to Mr. Buffalo's.
Did he ask you if you knew anything about why they were there?
Yes, and I told them I didn't really know why they were there. They were looking at the restaurant, wanted to see what kind of establishment it was, and
Did you suggest anything to him that he should do?
yes, I told him that he should call the Beverly Hills Police Department and ask them why they were there.
What was his reply when you made that suggestion?
He stated, yeah, well, no. He led me to believe he wasn't going to make any phone calls.
Did you have any further conversation with him?
Yes, he stated that he was coming out to Jersey, correct, New Jersey, in a matter of a couple of days or something, and that he wanted to talk to me.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing further.
Cross-examination.
Am I correct that 2 Beverly Hills detectives flew all the way across country to take you to a chicken wings restaurant? Is that what happened?
Well,
Detective,
that,
what's the speculation on the part of the witness?
Sustained.
Well, where were you when the detectives first came up to you and asked you to go to this restaurant?
I was at work and at the offices of D.B. Kelly.
And all of a sudden, they appeared in around the end of February 1992, was it?
Yes.
And they said, why don't you join us? And you got in the car and they drove you somewhere, right?
Yes.
And they didn't tell you where you were going or why they wanted you to come with them?
They said that they were going to Mr. Buffalo's and they wanted to look at the restaurant that Lyle had bought.
Did they say why they wanted you to go along with them?
No. No.
And so you drove over to the restaurant with them, and what'd you do when you got there?
Well, we sat down and had some very hot buffalo wings.
How were they?
Good.
Okay. What else did you do?
We spoke to the manager. We asked him if I don't know if we asked him if Lyle was around or not. I personally didn't. But I know, I believe Les asked the manager, how's everything going, you know. And, I think possibly we did ask if Lyle was there. And he says, no, Lyle wasn't around.
And that's all that took place?
We sat and ate lunch and then we left.
Nobody took any photographs or conducted any more interviews other than what you just indicated?
No.
And then, is it your testimony that a couple of days later, Lyle Menendez, you returned a call? Lyle Menendez had called your boss and had the boss call you back?
That's correct.
You called him back, correct?
Yes.
And he wanted to know what the problem was?
Yes.
You told him you didn't know what the problem was?
That's correct.
You told him you didn't know why you were taken to the chicken wing restaurant, correct?
That's correct.
He asked you how you were doing,
Yes, he did.
and that was the end of the conversation.
Basically, and beside the point that he said he was coming up to New Jersey in a couple of days and he wanted to talk to me.
And that's the last time you spoke with him or talked to him?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Glenn Stevens,
Spell your last name.
Stevens.
All right, you may conduct your direct examination.
Thank you. Mr. Stevens, did you recently graduate from Princeton University?
Yes, I did.
And in what year did you start at the university, please?
In 1988.
And so was your freshman semester in the fall of 1988?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you graduate from high school in June of '88?
Yes, that's correct.
And in the spring of 1989, did you meet Lyle Menendez?
Yes.
You see him in here in court?
Yes, I do.
What's he presently wearing?
Striped white shirt.
Referring to the defendant at counsel table.
Thank you. Mr. Stevens, at some point, did you consider yourself to be Lyle Menendez's best friend?
Well, yeah, I considered him to be my best friend. I'm not sure that the feeling was mutual.
Okay, but he was your best friend?
Yes, yes.
And about what month was it in 1989 that you recall first meeting him?
It was February, I believe, when he returned to campus.
And when did the spring semester start that year?
It's usually the first week in February.
And when does the fall semester normally end? Before Christmas?
No, we have exams after Christmas.
All right, and that's continuing through the 4 years that you were there?
Yes.
When you first met Lyle Menendez, where were you living?
I was living on campus in my dorm room.
Was it a specific hall that you lived in?
Yeah, I believe it was 1937 Hall.
And do you remember what hall Mr. Menendez was living in?
Yes, in Gauss Hall.
At the time that you first met him, did you also meet a man named Donovan Goudreau?
Yes, soon thereafter.
Were you also friends with Mr. Goudreau?
Yes.
And during the period of times that you were friends with Lyle Menendez, did you spend a lot of time with him together?
Yes.
Now, the spring semester of 1989 ended about when?
It's usually the last week in May or the first week in June.
And during that summer, did you see Lyle Menendez?
No, I did not.
Where did you spend the summer of 1989?
At my house in Freehold, New Jersey with my parents.
Did you learn sometime after August the 20th of 1989 that Lyle Menendez's parents had been killed?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember how it was you were notified of this?
Yes, I had a friend whose mother had worked for Mr. Menendez, actually had worked at RCA in New York City, and she had heard at work the next day that the parents had been killed, and her son called me to tell me.
Did you see Mr. Menendez at the end of the spring semester? Were you still friends with him at the end of the spring
Yes.
semester? During the summer, did you have any contact with him at all?
Yes, he called my house a few times, on a few occasions.
Then the next contact you would have had was to learn of the deaths of the parents, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, prior to learning of the deaths of the parents, had you ever met either one of them?
No.
Did you ever go to California and visit Lyle Menendez at home in California after you made his acquaintance in February of 1989?
Not while the parents were living.
After you found out that they were deceased, what's the next time that you saw or heard from Lyle Menendez?
At the funeral service in Princeton.
Okay, could you tell me what that was? And it was a funeral or a memorial?
It was a memorial service. There was a memorial service, a wake, and then the burial.
Right, which portion did you go to?
All three.
And where was the memorial service?
The memorial service was in the Princeton University Chapel.
And was the wake outside of the university?
Yes, it was at a funeral home right there in town.
And then you also attended the burial? is
Yes,
that
that's correct.
And at the memorial service, did you see Lyle Menendez?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you have any conversation with him?
Not at the memorial service. I did at the wake at the funeral home.
Did you travel by yourself from the memorial service to the wake? Well, did you travel with Mr. Menendez?
From the memorial service to the wake? No, I don't recall so.
All right. Why did you go to the memorial service?
Well, he was a friend of mine, and he was coming into town for the... I figured it was I should be there.
Had you spoken to him on the phone between the time that you learned of his parents' deaths and the time of the memorial service?
No, I called and tried to speak to him, but Mr. Menendez's secretary was taking all of their calls, the boys' calls.
Okay. Do you remember what day of the week it was that you went to the memorial service?
No.
Had school started by then?
I don't believe so.
And generally, the fall semester at Princeton University, when does it start for people who are not freshmen?
The second week of September, I believe. It's usually the week after Labor Day.
Did you have any conversation with Mr. Lyle Menendez at the wake?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did he say something to you about how he felt about what had happened?
Yes, we spoke for a little while. I had asked him, how he was doing, how he was getting along, and he had a response that I remember that stuck out of my mind.
Okay. What did he tell you?
He said, well, I've been waiting so long to be in this position that I'm well prepared for it.
Okay, now, when he said well prepared for the position, did you understand what position he was referring to?
Well, I took it to mean being the man of the family now, being in charge.
Did you offer him consolation when you first spoke to him?
Yeah, I believe so.
The normal things you say to people who've just lost.
Yes.
Okay. Did you notice that he was wearing any kind of watch at this time?
Yes, I noticed that he was wearing a Rolex.
Had you ever seen him wearing a Rolex prior to, when you knew him in the spring of 1989?
No.
Did he say anything to you about the Rolex the first time that you noticed it on him?
Oh, I commented on it, and he told me that it was his father's, and that he was wearing it.
And when he made this comment to you, was that at the wake?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Did you later learn from Lyle Menendez that in fact he had purchased the Rolex?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you know about when it was after the wake that you learned that?
No, I can't recall.
Was it a matter of weeks, months?
It was probably soon thereafter, but I can't say definitively.
After the memorial service, the wake and the burial, did you begin to spend time with Lyle Menendez again?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, during the spring of 1989, how much time during a normal day would you say that you spent with Lyle Menendez?
A few hours.
Now, could you give us a brief description of the class schedule that the students have at Princeton? Do you go to class from 8 to 5, or how does
No,
that
on the average, you have about 3 50-minute classes every day, and the rest of the day you pretty much have to yourself for studying or sports or whatnot.
Okay, so approximately 3 hours of class per day, and then the rest of the day is left to your own devices.
Yes, that's correct.
What was the bond that you had with Lyle Menendez when you first met him in the spring of 1989?
Well, it was immediately obvious that both of us were not very happy at Princeton University, and we sort of had a bonding experience in that we felt that the university was a little bit too structured and that we didn't get along with most of the Princeton-type people,
And when you renewed your friendship with him after the death of his parents, were you as close to him then as you had been in the spring?
I would say so.
And did you spend a lot of time with him?
Yes.
Now, if in fact the university didn't start until the second week of September, between the time of the memorial service and the start of school, did you spend a lot of time with Lyle Menendez?
Yes.
Do you remember that he was being guarded by bodyguards at a certain period of time?
Yes.
And when and how did you first become aware that he was being guarded?
I imagine, if I recall correctly, I remember being at the Baralt's house one day, Aunt Terry's house, and sitting there, and some bodyguards came into the house ahead of Lyle, checked out the house, and then Lyle walked in. And I think that's the first time that I actually saw them.
Okay, now when you talk about Aunt Terry, could you tell us who she is, please?
Terry Baralt is Lyle's aunt. It's Jose's sister, I believe.
And prior to, after the memorial service, was that the first time you'd ever known her, or did you know her in the spring of 1989?
I knew her in the spring of 1989. Right.
And how was it that you knew her?
We went over to the house very often and sat with her and spoke with her, ate there on occasion.
Did she act like someone's typical aunt?
Yes.
Okay. And how many times a week or a month would you say you saw her in the spring of 1989?
That would be difficult to say. I don't know. We probably went there maybe once a week, once every other week. It was sporadic.
When you say we went there, aside from yourself and Lyle Menendez, did anyone else ever go over to her house?
Yes, often Hayden Rogers would also go. Remember an occasion here or there where Greg Guest might have went as well.
And Greg Guest and Hayden Rogers were also students at Princeton University in the
Yes.
spring of 1989?
Yes.
Now, referring back now to the fall after the memorial service, I believe you indicated the first time you noticed the bodyguards was at Aunt Terry's house. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Did Lyle ever say anything to you about why he wanted bodyguards?
Well, there was the whole idea of that maybe the mafia had been responsible for this murder, and that I just understood that he was fearing for his own person.
At some point after you became aware that he was being guarded by bodyguards, were you aware of the fact that he went to Los Angeles for a day?
Yes.
Okay, did you know that before or after the fact of the trip?
I can't recall. I know that I knew it after. I'm not sure if I knew beforehand that he was going out to L.A.
Okay. Were you spending time with him before the fact of the trip?
Yes.
After the trip, did he tell you why he'd gone to Los Angeles?
Yes.
Okay, what did he say?
He told me that his Uncle Carlos had found a file in the computer that it had 3 headings on it. One of them said Menendez, one of them said list, I believe, and one of them said will. And that he went out there to try and open the files and read what was in them.
Now, when he told you the term will, did you understand that to be the name of a document or somebody's name, like Will being short for William?
The name of the document, the
Okay,
family will.
like a last will and
Yes.
testament. Okay, did he tell you why he wanted to access the computer?
He wanted to read what was in the will because he knew that his father was drafting a new will, and he wanted to see if he could read what was in there.
Did he tell you the results of his search?
Yes.
What did he tell you?
They opened the files and found nothing legible inside. They couldn't be opened, they couldn't be accessed for some reason. And he told the computer expert that he had hired just to erase the contents.
Did he tell you why he wanted the contents erased?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said, well, my father wasn't very happy with me at the time, and since the will that was found gave me and my brother everything, I had nothing to lose by erasing this one. I'm not sure if I would have been in it.
Were you aware of whether or not Lyle Menendez had any computer skills when you were friends with him during this period of time?
I'm sure he had basic word processing skills at Princeton, I believe.
I'm going to object unless there's a showing of personal knowledge.
Objection sustained, the answer is stricken.
Okay, did you ever see him work an IBM computer?
Macintosh, I believe.
But
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay. Now, when Lyle Menendez told you about erasing the will, did he say anything about the person who had done the erasure?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said that he had found a little Jewish guy, a computer expert, who he didn't think anybody would be able to find.
During the period of time that you spent with Lyle Menendez before the start of school and even after the start of school, did you and he ever go shopping together?
Yes.
Okay, could you tell us what you went shopping for?
Clothes, lots of things. Are you speaking about in the spring of 1989?
No, I'm sorry. If I said that, I misspoke. After the death of the parents.
We went shopping very often for a lot of things.
Well, since you brought it up before that time, before the parents had died, had you ever gone shopping with him while you were both together in the spring of '89 before his parents were deceased?
Not that I recall.
All right. Did he ever buy you things or buy dinner or anything in the spring of 1989 before his parents were deceased?
Not that I recall.
After the memorial service, you went shopping?
Yes, very often.
Okay. What did you shop for?
A Porsche, real estate, 2 condominiums and a patio home, clothes, things of that nature.
Now, in the spring of 1989, I keep jumping back and forth, and if you're unclear, just correct me. Were you aware of whether or not Lyle Menendez owned an automobile before his parents' death?
Yes.
What kind of automobile did he own?
I believe he had an Alfa Romeo at home. I'm not sure it was on campus.
Okay, did he indicate to you that he had an Alfa Romeo at home?
Yes.
Did he ever indicate whether or not he was pleased with having an Alfa Romeo versus another kind of car?
Well, he sometimes referred to it as a, and I apologize, a piece of shit, and that he had expressed an interest in Porsches.
And as this was before the death of his parents?
Yes.
After the death of his parents, you went and drove?
Yes, I went with him on test drive of the Porsche.
Did
Yes.
you ever look for any other car aside from Porsches?
Not that I recall.
During this period of time that you were spending time with him, did he always wear the Rolex watch?
Well, he had two of them.
Oh, okay. What was the other one?
He had a gold Rolex President's watch, and he also had a platinum Submariner diving watch.
All right, so whenever you were with him, did he have one of the two watches on?
Yes.
Did you ever wear one of the watches?
Well, that was later on, yes, when he was wearing one. He had a Submariner and lost it, and went and replaced it, purchased another one. And so he said at that time, well, when I'm wearing one of them, you wear the other one, that way I know where it is, I won't lose it.
Okay. Do you know during what period of time it was that he lost the Submariner?
He lost it in the fall of my sophomore year around Princeton somewhere. In somebody's room it was left, and went back and it was gone.
Now, the fall of your sophomore year was the fall of 1989, correct?
Correct.
And that was after his parents' death?
Yes.
So after the replacement of the Submariner, you sometimes would wear one of the watches that he wasn't wearing?
Correct.
Okay. Did you return to Princeton in the fall of 1989 and become a student again?
Yes.
And did you stay a student there until and finish that semester at Princeton University?
Yes, that's correct.
And sometime after the completion of your first semester of your sophomore year, did Lyle Menendez hire you?
Yes, it was right around the beginning of my spring semester.
Had you already started your spring semester?
Yes, that's correct.
And when he hired you, what did he hire you to do?
It wasn't exactly specific at the time. Part of it was going to be dealing with Chuck Spring Street Cafe, or Mr. Buffalo's, as it was being renamed. Part of it was just looking over real estate deals, just as a personal advisor on some investment.
What was your major at the time?
Politics.
Okay. Did you have any investment background?
Not anything formal. I had an interest in it and did some reading.
Now, I believe you made some reference to Chuck Spring Street Cafe. Could you tell us what that was, please?
It was a local eatery in the Princeton area that specialized in buffalo wings.
Okay. Before, in the spring of 1989, before the death of the parents, had you ever been there with Lyle Menendez?
I don't recall.
Okay. After the death of the parents, did you ever go there with Lyle Menendez?
Yes.
And at some point, did he actually purchase the restaurant?
Yes.
Do you remember about what month it was in the fall of 1989 that he first expressed an interest in purchasing the restaurant?
I can't recall the month.
Was it in the fall of 1989, though?
Yes, I believe so.
Your Honor, I have here a document. I'd like to mark it as People's Next in Order, which is 54, please. And counsel, will you stipulate that this is a true and correct business record reflecting the sale of the Spring Street Cafe to Lyle Menendez? Yes, as far as I know.
All right, at this point, the document is marked Exhibit 54.
That's correct. Thank you, Your Honor. May I approach, please?
Yes.
Well, before I approach, Mr. Stevens, were you present during any of the negotiations for the purchase of the restaurant?
Yes.
And which portions?
Some of the preliminary negotiations and also for the actual purchase.
And that would have been when the money was presented?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you remember what the purchase price was?
I believe it was $550,000.
And do you remember what the down payment was to be?
I believe $300,000.
Were you personally present when $300,000 was tendered to the owner of Chuck Spring Street?
Yes, in the form of a cashier's check or something like that, I believe.
May I approach, please?
Yes.
I'm going to show you the last page of this document, Exhibit 54, and ask you if this looks familiar to you. It appears to be a copy of a check drawn in the United Jersey Bank as a cashier's check in the amount of $300,000.
Yes.
Okay, does that appear to be similar to what you saw?
Yes.
You didn't memorize the number of the
No.
check? Okay. Now, your employment then was to be some sort of advisor and also to work at this restaurant, is that correct?
Yes.
And did you arrive at a figure for your services?
Well, there was a basic weekly figure that was arrived at, yes. That's
And how
correct.
much was that?
It was approximately $600 a week.
And were you to work at the restaurant as well as do the other things you've described?
Yes.
Did you in fact work at that restaurant for a period of time?
Yes.
From what period until what period?
From its purchase until probably July, the July after the arrests in 1990, I guess.
So for about 3 or 4 months after the arrest, you were still working there?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm about to go into some other things. I think this would be a good time to break.
All right. Then we'll proceed with the testimony of Mr. Stevens before the Lyle Menendez jury only. And would you state your name again for the record?
Glenn Stevens.
All right, Mr. Stevens, I'll remind you that you're still under oath. All right, you may proceed.
Mr. Stevens, your freshman year at Princeton, which ended in the spring of 1989, do you remember approximately how much the tuition, room, and board was?
Somewhere around $22,000 probably.
Now, in the spring of 1989, before the deaths of the parents, you spent, I think you testified, a lot of time with Lyle Menendez, is that correct?
Yes.
Did he have lots of spending money in terms of cash at that time?
Before the deaths of the parents, no.
Right, and when you went places or to eat or things like that, did it appear to you that he had a lot of money?
Well, I was aware of the wealth of his parents and whatnot, but he never had physically had much cash on himself.
Right. Now, in early May of 1989, before the deaths, Donovan Goudreau was living with Lyle inside of his room, correct?
Yes.
And at some point, did you have any discussions with Lyle Menendez about ejecting Mr. Goudreau from the accommodations at Princeton?
Yes.
Okay, and what was the discussion about, and did you advise Lyle Menendez of certain things?
Well, yes. Myself, Greg Guest, and Hayden Rogers all went to Lyle to make him aware that we had discovered some things that Donovan had been lying about.
And did you, the three of you, have this discussion in each other's presence with Lyle Menendez?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you recall yourself, though, giving information to Lyle Menendez about Donovan Goudreau?
Yes.
And how long before Mr. Goudreau actually was ejected was it that you gave Lyle Menendez the information?
Well, period of just a few days. And once I told Lyle about it, we proceeded to eject Donovan from the room.
And what did you tell Lyle Menendez?
Well, I had told Lyle Menendez that there were a lot of things that Donovan had been telling us that were just blatant lies.
Right. And did you urge Lyle Menendez to do something in regard to these lies?
I said, well, not only is Donovan telling us blatant lies, but there was an incident where Lyle had some money missing from the room, so I immediately assumed that possibly he was the one that was responsible for the money missing, and I said, obviously you can't trust this guy.
What did Lyle tell you in response to what you told him?
To be honest, he didn't seem happy about it. I think he felt a special bond with Donovan, and he was reluctant to expel Donovan from the room.
Did you have more than one conversation with Lyle Menendez about your suspicions?
Yes, it was discussed on a few occasions. And also, I believe it was discussed in front of Terry Baralt, the aunt.
When Donovan did finally leave, did you ever see his wallet?
Yes.
Could you tell us about that, please?
Yes, Donovan, we packed up his truck, and Donovan went out the window and left. And soon thereafter, that day, Lyle held up a leather wallet and told me that it was Donovan's and that he had kept it.
Okay, did he say what he was going to do with it?
Well, we sat down on the bed and went through the wallet to see what was in it. And there was, I remember distinctly, a Wells Fargo card and Donovan's driver's license. And he was, I don't know if he told me this or if I was just under the impression, but...
I'm going to object, then, Your Honor.
Okay.
He can't testify his impression.
Yeah, okay. You understand what the objection is?
Yes.
All right. Did Lyle tell you that he'd stolen the wallet?
He told me that he had kept it.
Okay, did he ever tell you he was going to return it to Donovan?
No.
Did he tell you he was going to do anything with any of the articles inside of the wallet?
He had mentioned about the Wells Fargo card, that Donovan had had a big account
And what did he say he was
In
going
it,
to do?
he wanted to try and retrieve the money that was stolen from him.
Do you know about how much money was involved in this theft?
I know it was a small amount, somewhere around $100, $150, something like that.
All right. Did he say anything else to you about any handwriting he was going to do?
Well,
I object.
May we have a moment?
Yeah. Okay. All right. After you saw the wallet in his possession, did you ever see it again after that day?
no, I don't believe so. I can't recall ever seeing it again.
Did you ever have possession of the wallet?
No.
Okay.
It never left the room, as far as I know.
Okay. When he held up the wallet to you, what was his demeanor like?
He was laughing about it.
Was he crying when Donovan left?
I do remember that he seemed reluctant to ask Donovan to leave. He was sort of upset that it had come to this eventuality, but he accepted it.
Now, how long was it after that he held up the wallet and was laughing? And in other words, after Donovan left and Lyle Menendez was upset, how much after that did he hold it up and laugh about the wallet?
Within an hour.
Now, the summer of 1989, the summer after your freshman year, I believe you testified that you had telephone contact with Lyle Menendez, but that was all. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. After the deaths of his parents, I believe you indicated you went shopping for automobiles, correct?
Correct.
And were you actually with Lyle Menendez when he completed the purchase of a Porsche?
I believe so.
Your Honor, I have here some documents. I'd like to mark them as Exhibit 55, which I believe is next in order. The defense has a copy. Did you ever see the preparation of any of the documents used to purchase the Porsche?
We went there over a period of time on several occasions to fill out some of the paperwork, to test drive the car over and over again, and there were several times that paperwork was done in my presence.
Right. Your Honor, counsel, will you stipulate that Exhibit 55 is an accurate business record of the transaction which it purports to depict?
So stipulated.
Okay, thank you. May I approach, please?
Yes.
You said you test drove the car. Do you know about how many times?
I remember one time distinctly where I was in the car when it was test driven, and I know of other times when Lyle went and test drove the car when I wasn't there.
All right. So you can testify to at least one test drive that you participated in?
Yes.
And these records appear to be from a place called John Wood. It looks like a Porsche Audi dealership on Route 1 in North Princeton. Is that the dealership at which the car was purchased?
Correct.
All right. And do you remember what kind of Porsche it was? Was it new or used?
It was a demo model, I believe. It was used, but it was still a late model.
Okay. And was there any kind of customization that was done to it?
It was a limited edition Porsche. It was a 911 Carrera Cabriolet limited edition. I don't know about customization or anything like that.
Did it have one of those fins in back?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember about how much this automobile cost?
Between $60,000 and $70,000.
I believe you also mentioned yesterday that you had gone with Lyle Menendez for real estate, gone shopping for real estate?
Correct.
Right. Your Honor, I have here two more exhibits. I'd like to mark them as 56 and 57. 56 will be the one for $265 and
$265 what?
$265,000. And the other one is for $128,000. Counsel, will you stipulate that exhibits 56 and 57 are accurate business records which depict the transaction contained therein, and that the escrows contained in 56 and 57 did not close?
So stipulated.
All right. Now, do you remember the name of the location where these homes were contained? The name of the development?
It was next to the Market Fair Mall. I can't remember right now offhand the name of the development.
Okay, if I showed you the documents, do you think perhaps that would refresh your memory?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm showing the witness exhibits 56 and 57.
Canal Point, right.
All right. And were you with him at any time when he actually gave money to the people there at this development?
I don't recall so.
And now, was this one of those places where they were building them and selling them as they went along, or were they already built, or how did that work?
I don't know if the development was finished or not. I don't. The one patio home that Lyle was looking at hadn't been completed on the inside, I think.
Who was going to live in this patio home?
Lyle had told me he planned to live there.
Okay, did he tell you why he had two of them and why he was buying two?
I didn't there were two condominiums and one patio home. I don't remember a second patio home. I think it was trying to choose between two of them. I don't know that he was going to purchase two of them.
Now, I believe you testified yesterday that in the spring of 1990, after the deaths, that you dropped out of Princeton for a year, or for a period of time. Is that correct?
I took a year's leave of absence, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, dropped out is not the right word. Did you notify the university that you would be coming back?
Yes.
All right, and what was your purpose in leaving the university for a year?
Well, Lyle needed help with some of his real estate transactions and the restaurant and things like that. And I also wasn't very happy with the university. I wanted to take a year's leave of absence anyway. So the two things sort of fit together well. He needed help and I needed a year off. So I could take a year off and work for him. I'd have a job I'd be taken care of.
And ultimately, you did graduate from Princeton University, correct?
Yes, that's correct. This June.
And what was your major?
Politics.
Right.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Politics, with no intention of doing such.
Right. Did you then, after you left the university for a year, spend a great deal of time with Lyle Menendez?
Yes.
Sometime around the holidays of 1989, 1990, that Christmas and New Year's, did you come to California?
Yes.
And was that with Lyle Menendez?
I met him out here. I didn't come with him on the plane or anything.
Did you come to visit him then?
Yes.
And that was before you had made the final decision to leave the university for a year?
Yes, that's correct.
Where did you stay when you were out here?
In the
during that?
Marina Del Rey apartment.
All right. Did you ever go to the Beverly Hills house during that period of time?
It's possible.
Do you have any specific recollection of doing so?
Not at the moment.
Sometime then in late February or early March of 1990, did you again travel to Los Angeles?
Yes.
Okay. And who did you travel with at that time?
Lyle and Hayden Rogers.
Okay, now Hayden Rogers is this other friend that's been described in the testimony, is that correct?
Yes.
And at the time that you and Hayden and Lyle Menendez traveled to California, were you all on the same flight?
Yes.
And at that time, was Hayden still a student at Princeton, or was he also not?
He had been asked to leave for several years.
Several years?
For 2.5 years.
All right. When you came out on the plane, did Lyle Menendez leave for a period of time and make a telephone call?
He made a telephone call on the flight, yes.
Okay, was that done in your presence?
It was one of those credit card phones on the flight, and it wasn't in the seat in front of us, so he had to get up and do it. It was in my sight, but it wasn't in my presence.
So you couldn't hear what he was saying, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, when he came back from the phone call, did he say something to you?
Yes, he told me that he had called the restaurant.
Okay, and when he said the restaurant, did you understand what he meant by that?
I understood Chuck Spring Street Cafe.
Now, at the time that he made this phone call, were you already employed there, or were you starting your employment there, or how did that work?
I had already decided to take a year off from Princeton. I had notified the university, and I understood myself to be in Lyle's employment already. I'm not sure if I had physically started in the restaurant, because that decision that I was to work at the restaurant might have been made later.
All right. And when he came back from making the phone call, he indicated that he'd called the restaurant, correct?
Correct.
What else did he say?
He said that the Beverly Hills police had been at the restaurant looking for him.
All right. And how did he appear when he made the statement to you?
Nervous.
All right. Then what happened?
He took a large sum of money out of his pocket. It was approximately $2,000, and split it between Hayden and myself. And he also took out a business card for a gentleman by the name of Gerald Chaliff.
Okay. And did he indicate to you who Mr. Chaliff was?
He said that Mr. Chaliff was his attorney.
What did he do with the money in the business card?
He gave, it wasn't exactly half. He gave about $1,200 of the dollars or $1,400 of the dollars to me and the rest to Hayden. And the business card he gave to me and told me, when we get into California, if anything should happen to me, you call Gerald Chaliff because he knows everything, and tell him what happened, if something was to happen.
And he wasn't more specific about what might happen at that time?
Well, he said, he discussed that Gerald Chaliff knew everything, and I asked him, what do you mean, know everything? And then he didn't elaborate on that until he discussed the tapes of Jerome Oziel.
All right. Now, when he discussed the tapes of Jerome Oziel, was that during the same plane flight, or was that at a...
Yes, it was in the same discussion where the business card was taken out.
All right. And what did he tell you about that?
He told me that he had been going to a psychologist, Jerome Oziel, either him or his brother had been going, and that Dr. Oziel had made some tapes of discussions between himself and the doctor.
Did Lyle Menendez tell you where he thought the tapes were located?
Yes, he told me that Dr. Oziel had them in a safe deposit box.
Did he tell you what might happen if that box were revealed?
Yes, he said, if the police get their hands on those tapes, and I quote, he said, I'm fucked.
And that was the end of the discussion, is that correct?
Pretty much.
All right. On March the 8th of 1990, were you in Beverly Hills, California?
Yes,
And were you present at the time that Lyle Menendez was arrested?
yes.
Shortly after that, were you asked by someone to retrieve something from Lyle's Porsche?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, do you know how the Porsche came to be in California after its purchase in Princeton? Do you know from your own knowledge, not from what someone told you?
It was shipped, I believe, back to California.
And did someone ask you to go to the Porsche and get something out of the Porsche?
The Porsche was in a audio shop getting a stereo put in, and I was asked to go and get in the back of the Porsche a box, a backgammon box, I believe it was.
Oh, and did you in fact go and get that backgammon box?
Yes, I did.
And where were you told to take that box?
I was told to take it to Gerald Chaliff.
And did you in fact meet Mr. Chaliff?
I went to his office. He wasn't there. We called from a payphone and tried to get in touch with him, and he eventually met us at a gas station that evening where we handed it over to him.
All right, and that was the last you saw of the box, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, when you say it was a backgammon box, what do you mean by that?
It was a box that a backgammon game had come packaged in.
So did it have something on the top that looked like a backgammon board, or?
Yeah, like chess, backgammon, multiple set, or something like that.
And could you describe how big the box was? When you talk about a game, was it like a Monopoly box or different?
It was a little bit smaller. Like this was probably a fold-up backgammon thing or something that was inside. It was about that big, the box.
Indicating about 12 to 14 inches, Your Honor.
Yes.
And you, in fact, did turn it over, is that correct?
Yes.
Right. Did you look inside the box before you turned it over?
Yes, on the ride to Gerald Chaliff's office, I opened it.
And did you go through it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you see inside the box?
There was
Just generally, what did you see in the box?
there was a collection of personal letters, family things of the Menendez family.
Did you see any photographs in there?
Yes, I believe so.
All right. And it appeared to be things from the Menendez family?
Yes.
Cross-examination?
Thank you.
Morning, Mr. Stevens.
Good morning.
This box that you referred to, who asked you to get the box out of the car?
It was Jamie Pisarcik, I believe.
Now, have you told the police on different occasions that it was Jamie Pisarcik and also that it was Steve Goldberg?
Yes, I misspoke on one occasion. I believe that Jamie Pisarcik told me to get it on the orders of Steve Goldberg.
Do you know for sure, or are you just trying to
No, I don't.
reconstruct? So it could have been Jamie.
I'm trying to reconstruct it. I just remember that I was told to get the box. I remember that I got it, and when you asked me the question before, you jogged my memory, and it was Jamie actually that asked me to get it.
Okay, I asked you because there was a police report in which you'd said that Steve Goldberg was the one. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that not all of these events are crystal clear in your mind?
Certainly, it was 4 years ago. I'm trying the best I can.
Okay. And in some cases, are you just trying to put together things in terms of what makes sense, what's logical, what you think would have happened, rather than specific memory?
Well, I'm trying the best I can to come up with specific memory.
Okay. But in some cases, such as the situation about who asked you to get the box, Things are a little
At
fuzzy.
the time that I say it, I believe it to be true, so.
Okay, so when you said it was Jamie Pisarcik, you believed it to be true. When you said it was Steve Goldberg, you believed it to be true.
Yes, that's a fair statement.
And whoever it is who asked you to get the box out of the car, were you given any instructions with regard to whether you were to look in the box or not?
Absolutely.
And what were those instructions?
I was told not to look in the box.
And when you violated those instructions and looked in the box, you said you saw that there were letters.
Yes, that's correct.
Did you read those letters?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell us what was in those letters?
Objection, hearsay.
Your Honor, they've opened up this area.
Well, the contents of the letters have not been gone into by the prosecution. So the objection is sustained if you're offering it for the truth of what was contained in those letters.
I'm asking about his memory, Your Honor, what he remembers about what was in those letters, how detailed his memory is.
Objection is sustained.
How many letters did you read?
My recollection is there was one letter and one, I remember, like a Father's Day card. Something along, it was a greeting card, I should say.
Okay, and did these appear to be very personal family
Yes.
letters?
What was your answer?
Yes.
Mr. Stevens, you indicated that you first met Lyle in spring of 1989.
It was the spring of my freshman year.
Is that 1989?
Yes, yes.
And
I
you
believe so.
graduated in June of 1988 from high school?
Yes.
What high school?
It was the Westminster School in Simsbury, Connecticut.
And when you first met Lyle, did you spend a lot of time with him?
Not in the first couple weeks. I met him, and then I met him again, and then I met him again, and eventually we began spending a lot of time together.
When did you begin spending a lot of time together?
Probably by March and April of that spring.
And in May of '89 was the end of the school year, or early June?
Yeah, the last week of May, first week of June, usually.
Now, you were a member of this group of friends, Hayden, Greg Guest, Donovan, yourself, and Lyle.
Yes,
is that
that's correct.
And is it fair to say that Lyle spent the majority of his time with Donovan?
In the beginning, yes, that's fair to say, but Donovan was also asked to leave the room, and once Donovan was gone, he spent more time with us than previously.
Right. And Donovan was asked to leave in May of '89?
I believe so, early May.
And you have described yourself as one of the primary people who was encouraging Lyle to have Donovan move out. Is that correct?
Yes.
And when you had this discussion with Lyle about having Donovan move out, did you supply information to Lyle to try to convince him to have Donovan move out?
Absolutely.
And was Lyle reluctant to have
Absolutely.
Donovan move out?
Yes.
Wait until she finishes before you answer.
And was this because of his close friendship or feeling of loyalty to Donovan? Is that what it appeared to be?
I was under that impression, yes.
And were you aware that Lyle had invited Donovan to come to Beverly Hills for the summer, to spend the summer with him and his family?
No, I don't remember that. Lyle had invited myself for that summer.
And then was that invitation withdrawn?
Yes, over the summer he called in the telephone conversation.
Were you disappointed by that?
Yes.
Now, how many times have you been interviewed by reporters, television reporters, print, newspaper, magazine reporters, radio reporters, reporters of any stripe?
Many times.
What's many times? More than 10?
I would be guessing if I could answer that question. I don't know if it was more than 10.
Well, can you tell us whom you've been interviewed by?
Yes, I was interviewed by the LA Times reporters John Johnson and Ron Sobel early on in this.
How many times did you talk to them?
Once, I believe, or twice. Once on the telephone and once in person.
Okay. And who else?
I spoke to Bob Rand.
How many times?
Many times over the period of this entire case.
What's many times? More than 5? More than 10?
With him, it's more than 5, definitely.
Is that in person, and then in addition you
In
had phone
person
calls?
and on the telephone.
And who else did you speak to in terms of reporters?
I did an interview for NBC that I believe Bob Rand was the interviewer in one case, and there was another woman that was an interviewer in another case, and I did an interview for another television station also.
And what was the other television station?
I I don't remember whether it was ABC or CBS. It was one of the two networks.
And have you been interviewed by anybody else of the reporter type?
It's difficult to recall right now. There were a lot of them. I don't remember.
Would it be fair to say that you've probably talked to reporters somewhere between 15 and 20 times on this case?
It would probably be fair to say that.
And how many times have you talked to the police on this case?
Also several times.
Several times?
Yeah.
Would you say it's in excess of 20?
I don't know if it's 20 separate occasions, probably with the
Okay.
grand jury indictment and telephone conversations, yes.
Okay. And have you formed a sort of a friendship with Detective Zoller?
Yes, that would be fair to say.
Okay. And when you're out here, as you were last August for the grand jury or now, do you see him in the evenings sometimes?
Yes, I did at the grand jury indictment, yes.
Okay. And what type of evening entertainment did you?
We went out for a few drinks, and he showed us around L.A.
Where did he take you?
Well, I don't know the town well, but like around the Sunset Strip and things like that.
And how long, when you went for the drinks, was this in a restaurant or what type of place was it in?
There were a few places. I know what you're getting at.
Well, why don't you just tell me then?
Yeah, it was, on one occasion, there was a go-go bar that we went into.
Was this a topless bar?
Yes.
And how many other bars did you go into with Detective Zoller?
Probably 2 or 3 at most.
And who was with you and Detective Zoller when you went in this topless bar?
The bodyguard, Richard Wenskoski.
Thank you. Have you been requested by the defense to be interviewed by us?
Yes.
Have you refused?
Yes.
Always?
Yes.
We've made
until
notice.
yesterday or the day before, whenever.
Which was in the presence of the
Yes.
district attorneys and Mr. Zoller for about 20 minutes?
Yes.
Now, in one of those television interviews, do you remember saying that Lyle Menendez was your best friend?
I probably said that.
Okay. And do you remember saying in that television interview that you saw him every day for 6 months before the homicides and every day for 7 months afterwards?
I may have said that also.
Was that a lie?
I don't think it was a lie. I mean, every day, may have been a bit of an exaggeration, but I didn't deliberately lie.
When did school end in 1989?
Like I said, the first week of June, I believe.
And did you see Lyle Menendez after school ended until the memorial service for his parents?
He didn't, I don't believe he went back.
Just answer the question, Mr. Stevens. Did you see him for the remainder of June?
Yes, I
Where?
think I did. He didn't leave, once school ended, he didn't leave right away.
Okay, once he left Princeton, did you see him again until
don't
the
think so.
memorial service?
I don't think so.
So there was at least part of June? Yes?
Yes,
There was all of July,
yes,
and there was virtually all of August because the memorial service was the very end of August. Is that correct?
yes.
Now, so when you said you saw him every day, that difference to you is just a slight exaggeration? Yes or no?
It doesn't appear so now, no.
It appears to be a lie, doesn't it?
No.
It's not a lie.
No, I didn't deliberately lie. I mean, when you're saying things to reporters, I just said, yeah, I knew him for 6 months before and for 6 months after the murders, and I saw him on a daily basis. It wasn't a lie. I didn't deliberately lie to anybody.
You reviewed all of the police reports in this case prior to testifying before the grand jury, did you not?
What do you mean by the police reports?
The reports that the Detective Zoller wrote up in this case. Do you remember, right before the grand jury, reviewing the police reports and telling Detective Zoller that they were amazingly accurate? Does that sound familiar to you?
I reviewed notes of his interviews with me, and I remember vaguely saying something like that.
Something like they're amazingly accurate?
About my interview, yes.
And do you remember in one of those police reports telling Detective Zoller that you had lied in the primetime interview, the primetime interview being the television show interview?
I don't recall that. Perhaps you can refresh my memory.
Your Honor, I'm going to direct his attention to the interview of May 7th, 1989.
Would you want to show it to me?
I will, Your Honor. When you were given reports to review, were they both typewritten and handwritten?
I don't recall.
Direct your attention to the notes here, which appear to be in Detective Zoller's handwriting. And I'd ask you to just read as Z for Zoller, G for Glenn. I'd ask you to read this paragraph here.
Read it to himself?
Yes, just to see if it refreshes his recollection.
I've read it.
Okay.
It's sort of difficult to, it's not in complete sentences, I don't.
Detective Zoller. Do you remember having that conversation with Detective Zoller about your interview on prime time?
I'd be lying if I said that I remember it now. I've seen what you have there, but I don't exactly recall discussing that primetime live interview with him.
Well, let me ask you then. Did you intentionally lie in the primetime interview?
I don't remember the extent of the primetime interview. I don't remember what was discussed in it. I haven't seen it since I did it. Well, except for when it was originally aired.
Okay, but, so you don't remember what you said on prime time, and you do not remember having a conversation with Detective Zoller in which you said you were, quote, less than candid on prime time.
That less than candid statement sounds familiar to me.
But if you did tell them that you saw Mr. Menendez every day up to the death of his parents for the preceding 6 months, and every day after that, that would in fact be a lie. Is that correct?
It's not accurate.
Thank you. Now, I believe that you've testified that Lyle Menendez didn't have much spending money. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And we're talking about before his parents died.
Yes, that's correct.
So he was not able to buy the things that he wanted. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And did he have credit cards?
Yes, I believe he had some credit cards.
Did you ever see him use his credit cards?
For the deaths of the parents, not that I recall.
Did you and Lyle have something in common because of where you had both lived earlier in your life?
Yes, that had come up at one point in our friendship. We realized that he had lived in an adjacent town to my hometown for a period of years.
And what was the name of the town he had lived in?
Muncie, New York.
And did he buy a dog?
Yes,
while he was back
he
there?
did.
And what did he name the dog?
Muncie.
And were you with him when he bought the dog?
I believe so.
Do you remember where it was he bought the dog?
There was a puppy farm on Route 1 near the university in Princeton.
J.P. O'Neill Kennels, does that sound familiar?
That does sound familiar, yes.
And you were with him when he bought the dog?
I believe so.
And how did he pay for it?
I don't recall.
Your Honor, for the purpose of refreshing his recollection, I would like to show him a document which the prosecution has that came from their discovery, which appears to be a Citibank credit card bill in which J.P. O'Neill Kennels appears as a church. Mr. Stevens, what's showing you it's now been marked as Exhibit 58. Do you recognize just from format what this is?
It looks like a credit card statement.
And is there an entry on here that says J.P. O'Neill Kennels?
Yes, there is.
And is there a price?
$185.50, I believe.
And is there a date?
That one down from there. Is that 5/1?
Microphone.
Is that 5/1, it looks like?
Okay, as in May 1st?
May 1st, I believe, yes.
And what's the date of the statement?
May 24th, 1989.
And what is the name on the credit card holder?
Joseph L. Menendez.
And does this appear to be a credit card transaction which would match up with the purchase of the dog Muncie?
Yes, correct.
And did you two sort of share that dog?
That would be fair to say.
And there are a number of other credit card entries for this month, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you remember being with him when he bought a Movado watch before his parents died?
That sounds vaguely familiar. I had forgotten about that.
Okay. And do you remember him losing that watch and then having to buy another one to replace it?
Again, that sounds vaguely familiar as you're telling me this. I'd forgotten.
Do you remember him buying a belt for you from Adam Ross?
Yes, that's correct. Without my knowledge, he surprised me with it in the car after we walked out of the mall on one occasion.
And was that because you had admired that belt?
Yes, I had expressed an interest in buying that belt.
And it was a $200 belt, wasn't it?
I believe it was about $125.
And you couldn't afford it, could you?
Not at the time, no.
And Lyle bought it for you?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you want to establish a time frame when those events occurred?
I'm sorry, this was prior to the parents' death, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you mentioned that Lyle complained about his Alfa Romeo.
Yes.
Was there something wrong with it?
Well, when I went out to visit him after the parents' deaths in Marina del Rey around Christmas time, I don't believe the car was running correctly.
Okay, he had problems with it running?
Yes, I believe so.
And he let you wear one of the Rolex watches, is that correct?
Yes, for the week out in California is when I think he started that practice.
Which week out in
The
California?
week of the arrest.
So this was in March?
Yes.
And it's your testimony you never wore the watch before that time?
Excuse me?
Is it your testimony that you never wore one of the Rolex watches before that week in March?
No, that's not I might have. But it started on a regular basis. You wear one watch and I'll wear the other one so I don't lose it.
Okay, but before that week, you wore it sometimes, didn't you?
That could be, yes.
Could be, or is?
I don't recall specifically.
Where's
If I had,
that watch now?
I have no idea.
Did you sell it?
Yes, I did.
Who did you sell it to?
I sold it to a neighbor of my father's who's a jeweler after the arrests.
Okay. And the $1,400 that Lyle gave you on the plane, he said when he was concerned about being arrested, what happened to the $1,400?
We used it to finance our trip back across the country.
We being whom?
Myself, Hayden Rogers, and there was a friend by the name of Cole Kruger who had met us out in California and came back with us.
Now, from the time that Lyle's parents were arrested, I mean, his parents died until the time Lyle was arrested, you spent a great deal of time with him, is that correct?
That is correct.
And did you stay in hotel rooms?
In the Princeton area, I spent the night at a hotel with him on one or two occasions, I think.
And who paid for the hotel room?
He was staying there, Lyle did.
And did you eat meals with him?
Yes,
And who paid for the meals?
I believe Lyle did.
And how many plane trips did you take with him?
I believe just the one, the week of the arrest.
And who paid for that plane trip?
Lyle did.
And when you flew out at Christmas time, who paid for that plane trip?
Lyle did.
Have you talked to people about being able to make some money off of this case in terms of writing a book or making a movie?
It has been discussed before.
And who have you discussed this with?
Robert Rand had suggested something after the case was all over.
And did you talk to Eric Tam about this also?
I don't know Eric Tam very well.
Do you know who Erik Tam is?
He was a friend of Lyle's that lived in Princeton, I believe. I met him once or twice.
And when you met him, you asked him for information about the family and about the defense, didn't you?
I don't recall.
Getting back to the incident with Donovan Goudreau, you said that you and Hayden and Greg sat there and talked to Lyle about why he should throw Donovan out of the room.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
And he was very reluctant to do that. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you thought this was absolutely the right thing to do. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you kept pressure on him to get rid of Donovan. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know if the morning that Donovan was thrown out of the room, there were phone calls from both Lyle's father and mother with regard to this subject?
I don't recall if it was on the morning of when Donovan was thrown out, but I do remember listening in on a phone call between Lyle and his father and mother. They were in an automobile somewhere, calling from the car phone and speaking to him about that, as well as the model girlfriend.
Christy?
Yes.
And they were telling him to get rid of both of them?
I remember specifically them saying to get rid of the model girlfriend, and the father had said something about, with the Donovan thing, to just cut his losses.
And get rid of Donovan?
That was my impression.
How did
Like
he
that.
appear on the day that you all helped Donovan leave?
He appeared nervous, edgy.
Appear upset?
Yes, that's fair to say.
Did he appear sad?
Yes, that's fair to say.
And when he told Donovan he was going to have to leave, who helped move Donovan's stuff out?
I believe Hayden did most of the moving out. The truck pulled up next to the window of the dorm room. They were about on the same level, and I believe Hayden was going in and out the window, loading the stuff into the truck.
Who brought the truck back?
I don't recall who went and drove the truck around. I don't recall.
Was Lyle in the room when Hayden was moving the stuff out?
It's possible, but I can't say for certain.
Okay. And were there a number of Donovan's things that were left in the room?
The only thing that I know of specifically is the wallet.
And where was that wallet from the time Donovan left until you moved out, or Lyle moved out in June?
I don't know.
Hold that for me a second, okay? Okay, thanks. Mr. Stevens, when did you first tell the police, if you remember, that Lyle had stolen the wallet?
The first time I remember discussing it was with Detective Zoller on the telephone. I believe it was the day after one of the television shows had released that the guns were purchased with Donovan's license.
Now, if I told you that that show aired on May 17th, would it be fair to say that your conversation took place on May 18th?
Most likely.
After Lyle's parents died and you went to the memorial service and started spending time with Lyle, did you feel that you were close to him at that time?
Yes, that's fair to say.
And is this also a period of time in which you considered yourself his best friend?
He was my closest friend at the time, I would say so.
Okay. And you had warm feelings toward him and cared about him as a friend?
Very much so.
And you felt loyal toward him?
Very much so.
And he was spending a lot of time with you and seeking your advice, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And he was asking your advice on cars and condominiums and businesses and stuff like that, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
How old were you at the time?
This is, what's the year again?
89.
89, I was approximately 20.
And did you have any particular experience in real estate at that time?
No.
Did you have any experience in restaurants?
No.
Did you know anything in particular about cars?
No.
And yet he was looking to you for advice and trusting you as a confidant, is that true?
Yes, that's correct.
And this is a time when you say you were very close to him, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And that would have been starting in early September of '89.
I believe so.
Do you remember in September of '89, September 18th of '89 in particular, 2 to 3 weeks into this close friendship, telling Detective Zoller that Lyle was arrogant and condescending and spending money in an offensive way?
I don't recall that specifically, but I might have said it.
Would it refresh your recollection to look at the police report?
Yes, it would.
Quoting you?
Do you remember seeing this police report before?
It looks like the police report that I was given prior to the grand jury testimony.
And the police report that you commented at the time was extremely accurate.
Yes.
And directing your attention to the second paragraph.
Mhm.
Does that indicate that you told
Let me
Detective?
read it. Okay.
So, by September 18th, 1989, you were already telling the police extremely negative things about Lyle Menendez. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that's correct. He hadn't been treating me very well at the time.
You know, the memorial service was the very end of September, of August.
Yes,
This is 3 weeks later.
yes.
You've just told us that this was a period in which you were close and friendly and trusting, and he was trusting you. And yet you say he
Yeah,
wasn't.
I felt very close to him. I considered him my best friend, but after the murders, he changed.
Well, you hadn't seen him for 3 months before the murders.
That's correct.
You've just told us here on the stand that this period following the murders was a period in which you were very close.
That's correct.
You were spending every day with him.
That's correct.
He was paying expenses for you.
That's,
He was asking your advice.
yes.
And yet in this period of time, you say he wasn't treating you very well.
He was being condescending towards me on several occasions.
And that made you angry, didn't it?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That's fair to say.
And on October 24th, 1989, you tell the police, first, that you had lied to the reporters in giving your interviews, and secondly, that Lyle had offered you a job.
Excuse me, Your Honor, that mischaracterizes the testimony for the first part.
Why don't you rephrase the question?
I'm sorry, you're...
Rephrase the question.
Okay. On October 24th, 1989, you spoke with Detective Zoller with regard to an interview you'd given to John Johnson.
Okay.
You remember that?
I don't specifically recall the interview with, but the discussion with Detective Zoller.
Would it refresh your recollection to look at the report?
Yes, it would.
Now, does that report refresh your recollection as to this conversation?
With John Johnson?
With Detective Zoller?
Yes.
And are you telling Detective Zoller that you're concerned that some of the negative statements that you've made to Mr. Johnson have been printed, and this may affect the way Lyle feels about you?
Yes, that's correct.
And do you tell Detective Zoller that what you're going to do is just tell Lyle that the statements are out of context and that Mr. Johnson misquoted you?
Yes, that's correct.
And in this same conversation with Detective Zoller in October of '89, you tell him that Lyle has offered you a job. Is that correct?
Is this here? Or is that? That's the fourth. It says here, and I recall that it says Lyle further asked him to drop out of school and go into business with him. So that's what I spoke to him about, and I do recall him offering me a job.
And what was he offering you?
Oh, it says $50,000 a year in here.
Well, I'd move to strike if he has no independent recollection.
Does that refresh?
Objection overruled. Go ahead.
Thank you. Does that refresh your recollection as to what the nature of the job was that Lyle had offered you?
I don't remember being offered $50,000 a year, but like I said, these are extremely accurate notes. So it's possible that that sum was
that's what-
kicked about.
But that's what you told Detective Zoller.
Yes, it appears so.
So we're now in October of '89, and are you still consider yourself Lyle's best friend?
Well, friendship transcends a lot of things, but homicide's not one of them, so no.
Well, did you believe at the time he'd killed his parents?
I wasn't sure. There were times that I thought maybe, there were times that I thought maybe not.
Well, Mr. Stevens, I'm a little confused. You've told us that you were his best friend from the time
I
that
felt,
you...
okay,
From the time that you went to this memorial service, at least until he was arrested, you were his best friend, his confidant, his business partner, traveled with him, saw him on a daily basis.
yes,
And it is clear that what you are doing is reporting to the police on a regular basis anything negative you have to say about him. Is that correct?
yes, that's correct.
Now, is that your definition of friendship?
The reason, I felt it was my duty.
Yes or no? Is that your definition of friendship?
No.
On October 24th, you place a call to the police department, to Detective Zoller.
Excuse me, what was the date?
October 24th, 1989. The article is published by the Los Angeles Times. And Erik makes some sort of has a reaction to this. Is this correct?
Erik called me and had a reaction to a phone call from Detective Zoller
About the article?
about an article that was to be published.
Okay. And so you then called Detective Zoller and told him what Erik's reaction had been. Is that correct?
I think so. That's possible.
Okay. And is that because you thought that Erik's reaction was incriminating?
It was suspicious.
Okay. And on May 17th, 1990, you see on television that Donovan Goudreau's license was used to purchase shotguns.
Correct.
And so on May 18th, 1990, you called Detective Zoller, whom you've talked to probably 6 or 8 times by now. Is that fair to say?
It's probable.
And you tell him for the first time this story about Lyle stealing the wallet. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you remember telling him also in that interview that that wallet sat in that room all year long?
Yes.
Do you remember May 17th, 1990, giving some information to Detective Zoller and saying, essentially, I wanted to tell you because this may make the difference between a conviction and them getting off?
That sounds familiar.
Have you been watching this show on Courtroom TV?
Yes.
I mean, this show, this trial.
While I was still on the East Coast. While I was still on the East Coast, yes.
Okay. How much of this trial have you seen?
A fair amount.
What's a fair amount?
I don't know. I watched, when I was on the East Coast, I watched it when I was in my room.
Did you watch it every day?
I watched portions of it every day, yes.
Lyle brought you in to help him work on the restaurant business, is that correct?
That was not the original intent, I don't think, but ended up to be the case. I ended up working in the restaurant. I believe Hayden was brought back originally to do the restaurant thing, and I was supposed to help him look at real estate properties.
And were you being paid to help him look at real estate properties?
Once I left school in February, yes.
And
Just for that, there was only a short time from, I left school in the 2nd or 3rd week of February. Lyle was arrested in the 1st week of March. I don't recall if I got a paycheck in that 3-week time or not, but I understood myself to be in his employment.
All right, how much longer do you think your examination will be?
probably about 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay, well, let's take a recess at this time, ladies and gentlemen,
Audience, stay seated until the jury.
with the witness here.
Could we ask the witness to remain
Yeah.
for a minute, Your Honor?
Yes, the witness remain here and be here at 11 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
All right, counsel, you can look at this transcript here.
Thank you. I'd like the court to remain for a minute, if you
Sure,
will, till the
sure.
jury leaves.
All right, the jurors have left. Ms. Lansing?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, we're going to discuss that issue at 11 o'clock. I just want to know, you had something else you...
Yes, I did, Your Honor. I would like this witness to be admonished at this point, since he's in the middle of his testimony, to not discuss his testimony or anything about this case with the district attorney or the police in the break.
Well, I won't do that. I think they have a right to consult with a witness while he's testifying, and that request is denied. All right, we'll be in recess until 11 o'clock.
Mr. Stevens, you indicated that in the conversation surrounding the eviction of Donovan from Lyle's room, there was some discussion about Donovan had borrowed some money from Lyle?
No, Lyle had some money missing, and we had thought maybe Donovan was responsible for that.
And you think it's about $150? Is that what you said?
That's a vague recollection. That number seems to be familiar to me.
Okay, so that was money that was just sitting in the room, and it was in an area that Donovan would have had access to?
I don't know.
Did you know him to loan money to people?
Objection vague as to who.
I'm sorry, did you know Lyle Menendez to loan money to people?
I don't know if I have any specific knowledge of any loans that he's made. I don't recall.
Now, at some point, you began working for the restaurant, is that correct?
Yes,
And you were involved in Lyle's purchase of that restaurant, or you were aware when he
I was
buying?
present at the purchase, yes.
And were you aware when the meetings were held with Lyle and his uncle Carlos and Steve Goldberg, who was a lawyer?
Repeat the question, please?
Are you aware that before Lyle bought that restaurant, there were a great number of meetings with Carlos Baralt, his uncle, and with a lawyer named Steve Goldberg?
Objection lacking the foundation as to personal knowledge.
I'm asking if he's aware.
Well, again, depending on how he knew about it, it could still be hearsay. So let's go at it one step at a time.
Okay.
Was he present, or did the defendant
All right.
tell him about that?
All right. Were you present at any meetings between Lyle and his uncle, Lyle and Steve Goldberg, or all three with regard to the purchase of the restaurant?
I was present at meetings with Lyle and his uncle Carlos about the purchase of the restaurant. I don't remember meeting Steve Goldberg that far back.
Okay. And how many meetings were you present at?
I don't recall.
More than 2?
It's possible.
More than 3?
It's also possible.
And did it appear that his uncle Carlos was going to have the ability to either make this happen or stop it?
Well, Lyle was taking his uncle's advice very seriously about whether or not to purchase the restaurant. About, you mean his ability to make it happen?
Well, did he need his uncle's consent?
Yeah, I believe his uncle was the executor of the will, so I guess he was in charge of the estate and the money that was necessary for this. I'm not sure if the insurance money was enough to cover the purchase of the restaurant.
But it seemed that Uncle Carlos was going to have a decision-making role in this. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And were you there during the times that Uncle Carlos was making statements to that effect, that he had to be convinced this was the right idea?
I believe so.
And you told us that you went with Lyle when he made offers on 2 different condominiums. Is that correct?
I was with Lyle for paperwork regarding 2 condominiums and a patio home. If you're referring to offers, you know, I don't...
2 condominiums, I believe the district attorney has given you paperwork on 1 condominium and 1 patio home.
She showed me, yes, that's correct.
Now, there was a 3rd condominium as well, is that right?
I believe so, yes.
And is that the one that Lyle's parents were buying for him at the time that they died?
Yes, I believe it was in Steward's Watch or something like that, or...
Canal Point? Does that sound familiar?
Well, Canal Point is the one that they showed me. There was also the apartment in Steward's Watch. I don't know if that was involved prior. My recollection is vague in that area.
Let me take you back one step
Okay.
at a time. 1 condominium was actually purchased. Is that correct? Is that your knowledge?
Yes, I believe.
Take us to time.
Overall.
Thank you.
I remember a telephone conversation. I didn't hear, wasn't privy to the conversation, but Terry Baralt was speaking to Lyle's father on the phone, and she got word from Lyle's father that it was okay for them to, okay for Terry to go ahead and purchase a condominium for Lyle to live at when he was going to Princeton.
Okay. Now, the other two that you looked at with him in Canal Point, the two that you have the paperwork on, he looked at them but never bought them. Is that correct?
I don't know. She said something about that they were never closed on, so
Okay. And when was it that you went with him to look at these? Do you remember?
we went to look at them a few times after the death of the parents, I believe. We went to look at them many times. I'm really, it's difficult with the dates and the times.
Okay. Were you with him when he had discussions about who would live in the patio home?
Yes.
And was that patio home to be for himself and his brother?
I remember him discussing himself. I don't remember a mention of his brother living there, but it's possible that it was discussed.
Now, when you talk about an apartment in Stewart's Watch, did in fact Lyle get an apartment for you and Hayden
I
in
believe,
Stewart's Watch?
well, originally Lyle got that apartment for himself and for Hayden. I think when he got it, I was still in school. And then by the time I left school, Lyle wasn't spending much time there, and I moved in there.
And did you pay rent there?
There was, once Lyle had been arrested, yes, but not while Lyle was around. Well, I was supposed to pay it out of the salary that he was paying me.
And did you, or did you pay it separately?
I paid it out of the salary that I was paid, I believe.
Do you know who a man named Harry Mansman is? Does that name sound familiar?
Not at all.
Did you deal with any accountants for checks?
Oh, yeah, there was a CPA that I guess Uncle Carlos was trying to get somebody to deal with the books.
To audit the books
Yes, I guess so.
while you were running the business?
I believe so. I remember an accountant.
Is it your testimony that the apartment was paid for out of your salary or out of money that the business took in?
Part of the time, I remember making payments for rent at some point when I was living in that Stewart's Watch apartment.
How long did you live in that Stewart's Watch apartment?
Probably from a while after the time of the arrests until probably around July of that same year, from March to July,
And how many
approximately.
times did you pay rent there? You personally, with your own money?
I really don't recall.
And was the business also paying for a car?
They paid the down payment on a car for me, yes, and I was also supposed to make, I think, the car payments out of my salary.
But the business, which was Lyle's business, paid the down payment on the car. Is that correct?
Or the business or Uncle Carlos or somebody gave me money for the down payment on a car because the lease had run out on my Firebird, and part of my contract agreement with Lyle was that he pay for a car for me if I was going to leave school because my parents couldn't afford it.
Okay, so he was paying for the apartment, he was paying for the car.
Yes.
He was paying for plane tickets when you traveled, hotels, meals, etc. Is that correct?
One plane ticket. I never, I spent a night in a hotel once in New Jersey just because he wanted me there. We weren't traveling around staying in hotels.
Do you remember testifying before the grand jury that he never bought you anything before or after his parents' death, and when he tried to give you things, you said no? You refused?
Prior to his parents' death, I refused often when he attempted to buy me things. Afterwards, in the course of our business things, there were things that had to be paid for that weren't my responsibility.
Like your car and your apartment?
Yes, it was part of our contract agreement.
And the only things that you remember accepting from him before is the $125 belt?
That's the only thing I recall.
But there might have been other things.
Maybe, but nothing that sticks out specifically in my mind.
So when you testified before the grand jury that he never spent any money before or after?
If you could read me back the grand jury, please.
reading from page 151. Excuse me, let me start on page 150 at line 27. Question, did Lyle take you to the Princeton Inn or other nice places? Was it just to eat or win your friendship? Answer, are you referring to the Nassau Inn question, perhaps? I don't remember a reference to Princeton Inn, but if you were referring to prior to the Menendez murders, Lyle never had much money. So when we would go out as friends, we were responsible for our own meals or entertainment. He never paid for me for anything. Even after the murder, although Lyle had offered several times to buy me things, I wouldn't allow it.
That is accurate testimony, I believe so. And I still believe that to be true.
Okay, so the buying you things doesn't include plane tickets and cars and
That was-
apartments and
That all,
belts.
once I was,
Argumentative.
Overalls. Yes.
once I was in his employment, it was understood that that was his responsibility to pay for those things.
Okay. When did you start running his business?
I can't recall the date. There must be a record of it somewhere, but I don't recall offhand.
Well, can you get me close?
Sure. I left school in February of '90, I believe, and sometime soon thereafter.
Now, when you left school, can you get a leave from Princeton just by saying, I'm tired of the school and I want a little break, or did you have to give them a different reason?
I believe you can just say I'd like to take a year's leave of absence.
And what did you tell them?
I told them, I don't recall what
Irrelevant.
Overall.
I don't recall what I told them why I wanted to take
Do
a
you
year off.
remember telling them that you had psychological reasons for wanting time off?
I remember at the time I was going through problems with depression, yes.
And so you told them that you wanted the time off for that reason, is that correct?
Yes,
And you didn't tell them you wanted the time off to run Lyle's business, is that correct?
that's correct.
So you lied to them, is that correct?
No, I took the year off because I was depressed, I didn't like the school, and I wanted a year off. And it was convenient that Lyle offered me a job at the time that would pay my way for that year off.
Didn't you quit school so that you could work for the business?
I was going to take a year off at the end of my sophomore year. I took it earlier, I took it halfway through the sophomore year because Lyle made me this job offer.
Okay. But you didn't tell Princeton that that was the reason you were leaving, when you were leaving, is that correct?
I don't recall mentioning that to them.
So you started running the business in February of '90. How long did you run the business?
Until approximately July of '90.
Now, how big a business was this? I mean, how many employees? How much money did it make a year?
I don't recall now. I had, I guess it grossed, I only know this from Lyle's estimates, that it grossed somewhere around $700,000 a year prior to him taking it over.
Okay. And how many employees were you responsible for supervising?
There were about 5, I guess, around.
And what were your responsibilities at that restaurant?
There were things like payroll was part of my responsibility. I had a hand in a lot of things. I don't recall exactly what was my distinct responsibility. I did a lot of the stuff with Gus Tangelos, and I don't recall exactly. Supervising the employees, being at the cash register for many hours a day, the payroll, and we also went through like cost-cutting measures and things like that. I didn't know much about the restaurant business. I was learning as I was going along.
You were only 20, right?
I believe so, yes.
And did you do the bookkeeping? Did you keep accounting records, or did somebody else do that?
I did that. Well, now that you refresh my memory, there was the accountant, and there was a woman that came in, and I was supposed to sit down with her and give her expense records and stuff. Gus Tangelos, myself, and her, and she would make the notations in an accounting book on a weekly basis that
Okay.
Uncle Carlos had hired her.
So you didn't do the accounting, you just gave her the paperwork?
I didn't do specific accounting. I was involved in keeping the account records.
Did you ever tell anybody that that when you were running this business, it was $1 million a year business?
Yeah, it was roughly, that's what Lyle had told me, that it was grossing somewhere,
Well, you-
700,000. It was a rough estimate. I'm sure I've said that many times.
That it's $1 million a year business?
Yeah.
And did you tell people that you were the one that kept the accounting records?
I might have said something along those lines, just because of my connection with the accounting records.
But you didn't keep the records?
No, the woman had them.
Okay, so if you told people you kept the accounting records, that really wouldn't be true, would it?
It's an embellishment.
You've told us there were 5 employees. Do you remember telling anybody that you supervised 20 restaurant employees?
The only time I can remember is saying something like that is on my resume.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
It is a resume that says Glenn Stevens on top. Mr. Stevens, do you recognize that resume?
Yes, I do. It's my resume.
What resume is that?
That's mine. An old one, but that's mine.
And does it indicate on their work experience?
Yes, it does.
And does it indicate that you kept the accounting records for Chuck's Restaurant, which was $1 million a year business?
It says, keep accounting records of businesses grossing $1 million annually.
So that was an embellishment, I think you said.
Yes, absolutely.
And you say on the resume that you supervised a payroll of 20 restaurant employees.
That is also an embellishment.
So we went from 5 to 20.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else on that resume that's an embellishment?
Probably.
Such as?
I don't know specifically.
Well, let's start at the top. Princeton University. Was that true?
Yes.
The recipient of the Memorial Scholarship for Academic Excellence.
I was a recipient of an Irving Van Gilder Perrine Jr. Memorial Scholarship. It's on here, yeah. Irving, E-R-V-I-N-G, capital V-A-N, capital G-I-L-D-E-R, capital P-E-R-I-N-E, Jr. Memorial Scholarship. I was a recipient of that, yeah.
That was something you got in high school?
Actually, no. It was, I was given it upon attending Princeton.
Okay. And it says you went to Westminster School, is that correct?
Yes.
It says you were valedictorian, is that correct?
Not exactly.
Okay.
I
You
believe
were or
I
you
believe
were
I
not?
had the highest GPA in the senior class, but being that I had not been a 4-year student there, they don't allow a non-4-year student to become valedictorian, I believe.
So you wrote in your resume you were the valedictorian, but you were not.
That's correct.
And what about the recipient of the Yale Book Award? Is that true?
I really don't recall. I don't believe so. I don't believe that's true, no.
Would it refresh your recollection to see the awards page from your high school yearbook?
I can look at it, sure.
Thank you. May I approach, Your Honor? Yes. And I'd like to mark this as defendant 60.
I have to clarify, though, I didn't write this. My girlfriend, at the time, wrote that.
Did you people when you were seeking employment?
Yes, I did.
Did you read it before you gave it to them?
Yes, I did.
Did you know you were presenting a false picture of yourself?
Yes, that's correct. I probably would have been stupid not to.
Would it be stupid not to present a false picture of yourself?
When you go for jobs, we're instructed at Princeton University to embellish a little bit on the resume. I mean, you have to sell yourself.
Directing your attention to a very poor Xerox copy, but doesn't it say Westminster 1988?
Yes, it does.
Is that the yearbook from your school?
I believe so. It's a supplement to that.
And does it have a page marked commencement prize list?
Yes, it does.
And does it have the Outstanding Scholar Award?
Yes, it does.
And that's not your name, is it?
No, it's not.
And does it have the Yale Book Award?
Yes, it does.
And you're not Susanna Bridget Baker by any chance?
No, I'm not.
Is she the one that won the Yale Book Award that year?
It appears so.
When you were spending time with Lyle, you told us yesterday that he was concerned for his personal safety. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you told us yesterday that the people that he was afraid of included the mafia. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Stevens, had you talked to Lyle Menendez and to other people about your family connection with the mafia?
Yes.
And what was that family connection?
Like I said, a gentleman by the name of Anthony Salerno was a close friend of my grandfather, and my father often referred to him in the home as Uncle Tony, because that's how he was known to him.
And is he also known as Fat Tony Salerno? Is that
Yes,
another
that's
name?
correct.
And who is Mr. Salerno? Or who was he?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled.
Well, he was reported to be the capo, or the head of the Genovese crime family.
And who's the Genovese crime family?
I believe it's a New York-based Cosa Nostra operation.
And this is the man who was referred to as Uncle Tony.
By my father, yes.
And you spoke to Lyle and to other people about this family connection, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you have occasion to take Lyle into New York one time for a meeting with a man with regard to Lyle's safety?
Yes, that's correct.
And who was this man you met with?
He was an ex-business partner of my father's. They owned an industrial chemical company together, and they were no longer affiliated in business, but the gentleman owned a security agency.
And what was that? What is that man's name?
Anthony Negri.
And this is someone you knew and Lyle did not, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, why did you take him to meet with Mr. Negri?
Lyle had indicated a desire to get a handgun permit for Hayden, so while Hayden was in his employment, Hayden could also act as a bodyguard, because the bodyguards that, like Richie Wenskowski and that he had hired, were very expensive, and this way he could cut costs by using somebody that was already in his employment as a dual purpose.
Okay, and so why was, let me withdraw that if I may. Did Hayden go with you to this meeting?
I don't believe so.
Who went?
I think it was just Lyle and myself.
And what was the, why were you meeting with this particular man?
Like I said, he owned a security agency, and we thought that he could give us some advice on how to go about getting a handgun permit for Hayden to legally carry a handgun.
And where was the security business that he owned?
In New York.
And where were you and Hayden and Lyle living?
In New Jersey.
And did you receive any information which led you to believe that Mr. Negri may have been connected to the mafia?
Only from Lyle.
And what was that information?
At one point during our meeting, I went to the bathroom, and then we left. And Lyle told me after we left that Mr. Negri had made some comments to him when I wasn't in the room that I think I may know who was responsible for your parents' death, and don't worry about it. I'll put out the word that you're to be left alone.
And putting out the word meant telling the people in the mafia that...
I have no idea what it meant. I assume possibly that's what it meant.
Whatever happened to the restaurant?
It's still there. It went back to the original owner, I think, because Lyle missed a payment. That was my guess, but I don't know that for sure.
He was in
Your Honor, I
jail.
move to strike the answer now.
All right, the objection sustained, the entire answer is stricken, other than the reference to it's still there, everything else is stricken. Jurors admonished to disregard the balance of the answer.
Thank you. Did you have a conversation with, let me back up a step. Do you know who the former owner and now present owner of Chuck's is?
Yes.
What's the man's name?
I believe it's John Argyris.
And did you have a conversation with him after he got the restaurant back?
I've seen him since, I think.
And did you tell him that you were happy that he got the restaurant back and Lyle lost it?
I don't recall making that statement.
Might you have made that statement?
It's possible, but I don't recall it specifically.
And we touched before on Erik Tam. Now, do you know who Erik Tam is?
I have met him, I believe, twice.
And did he take over the business after you stopped working there?
I don't know. I know that he was being groomed to do so, but I don't know if he took it over once I left.
And did you ever have any conversation with him on any topic?
Yes.
And did you ever have a conversation with him specifically with regard to writing a book or making a movie about this case?
I don't recall.
You might have.
I might have.
And did you ever have a conversation with him in which you were asking him for information either about Lyle's family or about the defense?
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled.
I don't recall.
But you might have.
I might have.
And you were funneling any information you got from any sources to the police, is that correct?
I don't think that's a fair characterization of what I was doing, but certain things became privy to me that I then forwarded to the police, yes.
And you were doing this the entire time that you were in Lyle's employ and were his trusted friend, is that correct?
I wouldn't say the entire time, no.
Oh, what period of time were you not giving them information? We have the first date on September 18th.
Yes, but, okay, that's correct.
So between, say, September 1st and September 18th, you were not giving them information about him. Is that correct?
That is correct.
But from September 18th, 1989 on, you have continued to provide them with information.
I don't recall. It's possible that it happened. I don't recall speaking to the district attorneys or the officers between that original interview in September and when I spoke to Detective Zoller on May 18th. I might have, but I don't recall.
Well, I think I've already shown you interviews.
That could be. I have a problem with the dates, like I said.
Okay. Well, you saw the documents for October 24th.
Oh, yes, right.
You remember?
Okay, that's correct.
And there were, then you saw the documents also for several interviews in May, phone calls that you made. Prime time was on May 17th, 1990?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
made several phone calls that day and the next day. Is that correct?
Several, I don't know. The one that you showed me, I do remember.
I think I showed you one from the 17th and one from the 18th.
Okay, that could be.
Okay. And those are ones we have documented. And you've
Okay.
indicated you've had over 20 conversations. Is that correct?
I said that could be. I have no knowledge of the exact number or where it's around there, probably.
We didn't finish with your resume. Were there any other embellishments on there?
Like I said, most likely.
Any that stand out at you?
Yeah, I was not a member of the Princeton Peer Tutoring Program.
Which appears under the activities section?
Yes, that's correct.
How about the Chem Lawn Services Corporation? Did you solicit $200,000 in new accounts?
I'm not sure if that number is correct or not.
That might be an embellishment
Yes, it might
also.
be.
Did you actually work for them?
Yes, that's correct.
What else on there do you recognize as an embellishment?
At Hudson Fabricating, which no longer exists, I don't believe that says I supervised technical work of over 40 employees. That's probably an embellishment also.
What was the correct number?
I have no idea. It was a long time ago.
Anything else?
Not that I noticed offhand.
Now, is it your position that this learning to embellish is something that Princeton taught you?
Well, when this was written by a girlfriend of mine, she was also had been a Princeton student, had graduated, and told me, "Don't worry, everybody does it. That's what you're supposed to do." So
it didn't violate any personal code of honor you have? Or do you have one?
Yes, I do have a personal code of honor, and it probably violated it.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Yes, Your Honor. It's going to go past the new number.
No,
but
it's
I'll
gotta start.
Yes. Mr. Stevens, in 1989, I believe your testimony was that you were 20 years old. Is that correct?
Yes.
You want some more water?
Yeah, if it can be arranged. Thank you.
Now, As a 20-year-old, had you ever had any experience with any of your other friends being involved in the killing of their parents?
No.
Was that, would that have been a somewhat unique experience?
Yes.
Princeton University is a fairly good school, is that correct?
Yes.
Do they have a lot of classes offered there?
Yes.
Do they have any classes entitled What to Do When Your Best Friend Kills His Parents?
No.
Okay. Did you have any training in how to deal with the media?
No.
Did anyone come to you and counsel you on what to do when the reporters come knocking on your door?
No.
Now, I believe that you were shown some handwritten notes by Ms. Lansing involving something to do with, you weren't as candid on camera as you would have liked to have been. Is that
Thank you.
correct?
Yes, that's correct.
In what regard were you not candid with the interviewers?
Well, I had been asked by Lyle's family to do the interview because nobody else was going to say anything nice about him, and they said some of his friends should stand behind him and go say something nice. So I did, and the interview immediately went in the direction of implications against Lyle's guilt. And
So in what regard were you not candid with them?
I was trying to direct them away from that line of questioning.
All right, so your lack of candor was in saying anything negative to the press about Lyle, is that correct?
That's correct, I believe.
All right, now, who asked you to cooperate in that particular interview?
I don't recall whether it was discussed in the Baralt household, I believe.
All right, after the death of the parents, were you in fact friendly with the Baralts?
Yes, that's correct.
And after Lyle's arrest, did you have any contact with them?
Yes, that's correct.
And would it have been after the arrest that you were asked to do this interview, is that correct?
They indicated that I should do the interview, yes, but I'm not sure if I had agreed to do the interview, but they gave their consent to me doing the interview and said that I should, that nobody was saying anything nice about Lyle and that I should do so.
May I approach, please, Your Honor?
Yes.
With these handwritten notes that were shown to you, in addition to having the phrase, wasn't as candid on camera.
May I approach also and see what it is?
Yes.
I'm going to direct his attention.
It also indicates that
Wait. Can I ask a question?
that it was a positive interview, is that correct?
Yes.
Ms. Lansing has made much of the fact that that you were friends with Lyle and you were providing information to the police, is that correct?
Yes.
I believe I asked you if you'd ever had this happen before. How did you feel during this period of time?
Like I said, I was going through a period of depression, and it was a very difficult period for me.
All right, would the fact that, well, let me ask you this. After the parents were dead and you started spending time with Lyle again, did you renew some of the feelings you'd had for him in the spring of 1989?
I'm going to object. That's leading and suggestive.
Overall.
Can you repeat the question? The spring of 1989?
Okay, okay.
The dates
Do you
again.
have a problem with dates?
Yeah, well, just that I took a year off, so sometimes I get confused about the dates.
The spring of your freshman year,
Mm-hmm.
you were close with Lyle.
Yes, that's correct.
His parents were still alive.
Yes.
You liked him,
Yes, that's correct.
and you considered him at that time to be your best friend.
Yes, that's correct.
During the summer, you had little contact with him, correct?
That's correct.
When you saw him after his parents' deaths in the fall of '89, which would have been the fall of your sophomore year,
Mm-hmm.
did you continue to have the same sorts of feelings for him that you'd had in the spring?
Yes.
Did he also behave in a way that you found noticeable or different?
Yes.
And that was after the deaths of his parents?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any problems with your feelings for him versus how he was acting?
Yes.
Right. Now, I believe you indicated he had been condescending to you. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
That was after the deaths of his parents?
Yes.
In what ways was he condescending to you?
He just he scolded me on occasion like I was an employee, and he was just very condescending to me. He had obtained this swagger and this arrogance, like I said, and it was very disturbing to me because it very often was directed towards me and others around us.
Did you have any kind of struggle with what you felt for him before and what was going on?
Well, yes, I immediately started to think to myself, well, who knows how people react after their parents are killed.
Okay, now, did you ever try to, well, I guess you're just saying, did you try to rationalize his behavior?
Yes, very often.
You've testified on direct to a number of incriminating things that Lyle Menendez said to you, or would you characterize them as incriminating?
Yeah, there were certain incriminating things that were brought to my attention.
At the time that they were brought to your attention, did you notice them as being incriminating?
Yes,
Some of those things you reported to the police, is that correct?
yes, that's correct.
Some of those things you didn't report until you were actually in town to testify for the grand jury, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
How do you feel about testifying against Lyle?
I sort of feel like I have to tell what I know. I know some things. If they turn out to be important, fine. If they don't, fine.
How do you feel emotionally?
It's not easy.
You used to care very much for him, is that correct?
That's correct.
After you found out that he had been arrested for the murders, in fact, you were there, right?
When he was arrested, yes.
Did the police throw you on the ground?
Yes.
Was that rather startling?
Yes.
And after you found out that Lyle had been arrested for the murders, did you begin to look back over some of the things that had gone on in the fall?
Your Honor, I'm going to continue to be leading.
Objection sustained to the question as being leading, and we'll lead right into a lunch hour here, ladies and gentlemen, and resume at 1:30. All right, you may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Stevens, during the lunch hour, did you tell me something?
Yes, I did.
What did you tell me?
Well, you had said something to me at the break that reminded me of something I figured I should probably let you know about. So,
Okay, what did you tell me?
is during,
I'm sorry. What did you tell me?
like I said, during the break,
Why don't you turn on that microphone?
It is on.
Okay.
you
No,
said,
pardon me. I'm going to go stand at the where the other mic is. Does that broadcast in the courtroom, Your Honor?
Yes, that's a
Okay.
public address.
All right. Now then,
you said something at the break that reminded me that during the end period when I was still in Mr. Menendez's employment, it became obvious to me that he was going to ask me to leave the restaurant and leave me in a state of financial distress. So for a few weeks there was a couple of occasions where I had pilfered some of the money from the cash register, and I thought that you should know that.
let me ask you about your financial arrangement with Mr. Menendez. What was your understanding of what was the offer to you by Lyle Menendez as to how much money he would pay you for these services that you were going to render to him?
I was under the impression that that $600 a week salary would take care of me until I went back to school.
You were planning to go back to school when?
In February of the 1991, I believe.
Now, how were you paying for Princeton while you were there?
Financial aid, and my parents were paying for as much as they could, and also I worked over the summer and tried to save money.
Were you then partially responsible for the cost of your tuition and room and board?
Yes, that's correct.
Is Princeton an inexpensive school to attend?
It's very expensive.
Did you take out student loans?
Yes,
Do you still have student loans?
yes.
About how much money would you say was involved in this act that you told us about?
Over the course of a couple months, probably around $200.
Okay. And I believe that Ms. Lansing asked you about this Rolex watch, and you indicated that you'd sold it. Now, let me back up. When you left the university in February of 1990, okay, to go work for Lyle Menendez,
Yes.
had you already paid a portion of your tuition?
For that semester, yes, I had. I was already about 2 weeks into the semester when I left, and I had to forfeit, I believe it was around something like $2,000.
Okay, was any representation made to you by Lyle Menendez as to giving you money for that $2,000 loss?
He was supposed. He came to my house one night, sat down with my parents and myself, and worked out an arrangement that he was to be responsible for that.
Did
And
he
if
ever-
I was going to leave school and be in his employment, he was going to have to be responsible for that, because my parents refused to let me leave school unless he would cover whatever costs it would cost me to leave.
Did you ever get the $2,000?
No.
When, did you have an actual contract with him, a signed contract?
There was an oral agreement. I don't know if my mother got. I remember we sat down and drew up some things on paper. It wasn't a formal contract with attorneys or anything like that.
Was part of your understanding with Mr. Menendez that in addition to the $600 a week, you would be receiving other types of perks?
Yes, like I said, well, there was the automobile, the living expenses, and I was supposed to pay for that out of my salary. I don't recall the exact arrangement, but there was a lot of the financial arrangements that never materialized.
Okay, which kind of financial arrangements did not materialize?
Like I said, that he didn't cover the costs of me leaving school. It just turned out to be a lot less than I had been made to believe.
Your Honor, could the court ask the jury if the jury can hear? Okay. Mr. Stevens, I believe in your cross-examination you mentioned the name Jamie Pizarczyk in regards to a request that you got after the arrest. Is that correct?
Yes.
Who was Jamie Pizarczyk?
She was Lyle's ex-girlfriend and, well, ongoing on and off girlfriend.
After Lyle Menendez was arrested in March of 1990, you continued to work for him. Is that correct?
Yes.
Why did you continue to work for him?
Well, I thought it was that I should give him the benefit of the doubt in the case, and that we had made an agreement, and I needed to for financial reasons. It was my job.
Did you need the money?
Yes.
I believe you mentioned something about, or you were asked about a person named Steve Goldberg. Did you ever meet Mr. Goldberg?
Yes.
Do you know who he is?
He was an attorney friend of the Menendez family.
Now, while you were working at the restaurant, was there someone else aside from you who managed the restaurant?
Yes.
And who was that?
Gus Tangalos.
You mentioned as part of your agreement with Lyle Menendez that you had a leased car, I think you said? Or no, you got the down payment.
Yes.
All right, and what kind of car was that?
It was a Volvo, a used one.
Do you remember what model?
It was 1984 760 GLE.
What happened to the car?
The payments were finished on it, and it was mine, and...
Oh, so, okay, that's all I wanted to know. You
Yeah.
ended up owning it?
Yeah.
Hayden Rogers was mentioned several times. Could you tell us who Hayden, well, I think you did tell us. Hayden Rogers was a friend of Lyle's, is that correct?
Yes, and
Could you
also
give-
of mine.
Okay, could you give us a description of Hayden?
Physical description?
Sure.
It's about 6'5", 260, 70 pounds, something like that.
6'5"?
Just about.
Okay. After Lyle's arrest, were you angry with him?
Not immediately. As it became obvious to me that the boys might be involved in the killings, I got very angry at him, to be honest.
Now, you were asked about this person, Mr. Salerno. I think the nickname was Fat Tony Salerno.
Yes.
Have you ever met Mr. Salerno?
No, I have not.
Now, I think you indicated he was a friend of your grandfather's. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. And so you were never taken to visit this man when you were a little kid or anything that you remember?
No, I just heard my father talk about him as Uncle Tony, and he had mentioned what he was reputed to be on several occasions. And for a while, I was actually under the impression that he was actually an uncle of my father's, and I've since found out that that wasn't true. He just called him Uncle Tony because he was close friends.
Okay, and you weren't alive when your grandfather made friends with him, were you?
No.
Okay. I have nothing further of this witness at this time.
Any recross? All right.
Mr. Stevens,
Yes.
you were asked by the district attorney at the beginning of the redirect whether you'd ever received any training in dealing with friends who'd had their parents killed.
Correct.
Remember that? And you said you hadn't.
Correct.
Do you think that whether you tell the truth varies on the circumstance? Is it okay to lie in some situations and not okay to lie in others?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. And so in a situation like this, where you think that someone may have killed their parents, the rules are different than they are under normal circumstances?
I think that would be a fair statement.
Okay. You said that you gave the interview, a televised interview, because the family had asked you to.
Partly, yes.
And those family members specifically were Aunt Terry and Uncle Carlos?
Yes, and I think maybe Aunt Marta also. I don't recall exactly who.
You knew Lyle's aunts and uncles?
Yes.
And did they treat you well?
Yes, I must say very much so.
And so you felt obligated because they had been nice to you to do this thing, to give this interview on television. Is that correct?
That's partly the reason, yes.
Now, when you were interviewed on television, you talked to him about, or you talked about the fact that Lyle's father was very demanding.
Yes,
Was that the truth, or was that a lie?
that was the truth from my understanding.
And you talked about the fact that Lyle idolized his father and felt that he would have a hard time ever living up to him. Was that the truth?
Yes, that's the truth.
You told them on television that he had talked to you on several occasions about how the money wasn't cushioning the blow for him, that he wasn't dulling the pain in any way.
Your Honor, I object to any further questions as being hearsay and irrelevant.
Did you ever hear him complain that he was unhappy with his circumstance with his parents with regard to money?
Not that I recall.
Did you find him to be a very trusting person?
Almost to a fault, yes.
And did he loan things to people?
Can't think of anything specifically, but it's possible.
How about his Porsche? Did he loan it to Greg Guest?
I'm not sure whether that was an actual loan or if Greg took it without permission. I don't know. But I know Greg drove it for a period of time, yes.
A couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, Lyle was away for some reason, yes.
Did he ever loan the Porsche to you?
No, I don't drive a stick shift.
You told us that you left school in part because of this depression you were experiencing. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true.
Were you taking any medication for that depression?
Actually, yes, I was.
What kind of medication were you taking?
It was just a prescription antidepressant. I think it was called Elavil.
And for what period of time were you taking that medication?
I don't exactly know. A couple of months, maybe?
Are you still taking it today?
No.
And did you have any side effects from that medication?
Yeah, things like dry mouth and sometimes difficulty sleeping.
Did it affect your ability to remember things or to understand what was going on?
It actually was given to me to help me in that regard, to help me concentrate better, and it seemed to work.
Now, you told us that your resentment of Lyle was focused to a large degree on the fact that he treated you like an employee. Is that right?
Yes, that's prior to actually being an employee.
Okay. And you wanted to be treated like a close, trusted friend. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you saw him treat other people as closer friends than he was treating you. Is that correct?
At that time, no. I always felt that he had a special thing for Donovan.
They had a special friendship.
Yes, but Donovan was gone by the time he started treating me poorly, I felt.
Donovan was gone because you and your friends had convinced Lyle
Yes,
that he should go.
yes.
You said that you knew Jamie Pizarczyk. The name came up.
Yes.
And how long had she been Lyle's girlfriend? Do you
At
know?
what time are you talking about?
Do you know how many years the relationship spanned?
I was only aware of a relationship between Lyle and Jamie Pizarczyk when I first met him. They were sort of on the rocks. They were dating. So, and up until at the time of the arrest, he was dating her again, but they had broken up for a period. I don't know much about that relationship.
Did they go back together again after his parents' death?
Yes,
And that was during a period of time you were spending time around Lyle. Is that correct?
yes.
You said that Mrs. Bozanich had said something to you in the hall which made you
Well,
think that
right
you should,
here. Right, it was in here,
Okay.
yes,
that you should volunteer this information about having stolen the money?
yes.
And what was it that triggered that memory?
She was referring to the questions about the accountant and the accounting thing, and she said something, well, do you think they're asking you that because of stolen money from the register? And I thought about it, and I said, no, I don't think so. And then I recalled the couple of incidents that occurred later on in employment.
Okay. You would take money out and write IOUs sometimes, wouldn't you?
IOUs?
And put them in the cash register when you took money?
That could be correct. I don't recall.
And other times you took money and didn't write IOUs, is that correct?
Yeah, well, I just admitted to that.
Right. And are you aware that after you took control of the restaurants, the reported daily receipts went from $1,800?
Excuse me, that calls for hearsay, Your Honor.
I'm asking if he's aware.
After he left?
No, after Mr. Menendez was arrested and Mr. Stevens was running the restaurant. That's the period of time I'm directing my attention to.
Right, what was?
Your Honor,
I forgot
calls.
the question.
Thank you. Are you aware that after Lyle Menendez was arrested and you were now at the restaurant without him, the daily receipts went from $1,800 per day to $500 per day?
I wasn't aware of that, no.
This was during the time that you were taking money?
No.
The taking the money came later?
Yes.
And you felt that Lyle owed you the $2,000 because of the agreement he'd had to pay for that, is that correct?
Yes.
And so you felt justified in taking the money on your own?
I never felt justified in taking any money. I just took the money because I got vindictive.
Now, Lyle was arrested about a month after he'd made that agreement with you, isn't that true?
Yes, that's correct.
And the 1984 Volvo you referred to, and this was purchased in 1989? Is that
I
correct?
don't know the date.
Well, it was purchased before his arrest, which was in March of 90, is that correct?
No, I don't think so. I believe it was purchased after the arrest.
And the down payment came from the business, is that correct?
From Uncle Carlos. I don't know where he got it from.
And the payments were made on it by the business for a part of the time?
That's possible. I vaguely remember Uncle Carlos telling me, well, we'll just pay you the extra money and you pay it out of your paycheck, the car payments, because we don't want to have to deal with that paperwork, something along those lines.
Okay. And where's that car today?
In the junkyard somewhere, I imagine. A friend of mine borrowed it at school this year and it was totaled.
Was it insured?
Yes.
Did you receive any insurance proceeds on it?
Yes, I did.
And did you ever reimburse Uncle Carlos the money, the down payment or anything?
No.
Mrs. Bazanich asked you about Uncle Tony Salerno.
He died in prison last year.
And how long was he in prison?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
Your Honor, she's asked if he ever met him. That's the basis for those questions.
Objection irrelevant.
Still sustained.
You, excuse me a minute. Yeah, it's the last one. Just for clarification, I had asked you a number of questions this morning about what you called embellishments. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Can you tell me, one of them was you supervised 5 employees and you claimed to have supervised 20. You called that an embellishment. Is that correct?
Yes.
Objection beyond the scope, Your Honor.
I just would like him to define the term, Your Honor. I forgot to do that
All right, we're
before.
not going through the
No,
litany again.
we're not going through the litany.
Okay, you can ask the question.
Yes. Can you tell me what your definition is of the word embellishment?
It's an over-exaggeration. That's my definition of it.
Is it the same as a lie?
Sometimes they can be the same thing.
Thank you.
Any further direct?
Just a couple questions, Your Honor. Mr. Stevens, I believe you were asked at the beginning of recross something to the effect of that it's okay to lie in some situations? Remember that testimony you gave?
Yes, just now.
Well, no. When I finished questioning you after lunch, Ms. Lansing asked you about, is it okay to lie in some situations? And I believe you indicated yes.
Yes.
Okay. Are you lying now?
No, not that I know of.
I'm going to object is vague. I'm not sure what now is.
Did you
All
lie
right.
during your testimony?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Now, I believe you indicated before that you had watched part of this trial back east on Courtroom TV. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you have relatives back east?
Yes, I do.
Are you about to start a new job back east?
Yes, that's correct.
And these are the areas in which the TV is being played?
Yes.
Are you aware of the fact that the things you're saying in this courtroom are going to be transmitted to people who know you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nothing further, thank